Fair. Alright. So we're gonna talk about tag tiers. A tier list, if you would. The funny haha. The funny haha tier lists, you know how it'd be. Uh, yeah, this, you can't see your name because it's black, but... So basically, before I get into tier lists, I just want to talk a quick bit about my thoughts on tier lists. They suck, and they're great. What I mean is, like, you should not look at a tier list at face value and just say, done, like this, that's it. Wait, listen to whatever explanation or to say, oh, why is this character this tier, why is this character that tier, or whatever. Listen to explanations, because you can just pick, like, some of the easy ones you'll see. It's like, okay, this character's S tier, I'll pick that. But you're not going to know the meta with the character, like, the most, what is it, most effective tactic available. You're not going to know exactly why whoever is S tier, whoever's bottom tier. It also is variant on skill level. If you are new to the game, you may not be as quick or as effective at using whatever character, and vice versa. You may not be able to deal with... That seems pretty loud. You may not be able to deal with characters as effectively as, as you normally would. Or as other players would. So, if you're new to the game, play whoever you want. If you're still, if you've been playing, play whoever you want. It's a fucking video game. There's something else I wanted to mention. I don't remember what. Yeah. Tier lists are... Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Your product, your environment, my tier list is going to be based on my opinions and what I've observed from the game, or what I've talked with other people about. So if you disagree with my opinion, cool. That's just me. Pick a top tier. That's the other thing I was gonna mention. I don't know why the fuck people get tight about other people picking top tier. That's just super weird to me. Like, just... If your goal is to win... It depends on what you're playing for, right? If your goal is to win, picking top tier teams or top tier characters in any fighting game, any game really, is smart. Like, if my goal is to win, why would I pick a thing that's designed to lose? Like Dota, why would I pick off-meta heroes? League, like, people fucking get a little too obsessed with it. But yeah, just like, if your goal is to win, pick a good character. If your goal is to have fun, pick whoever you want. If it so happens that your good character is also the character you have fun with, pick that character. But yeah, rant over. So I'll take suggestions from the chat. I'm just gonna go some easy ones real quick. But if anybody in the chat has any suggestions, want to know where your favorite characters are, let me know. I will also add a row below S tier for A+, and I'll change this color to a nice blue. Oh shit, Ragna right off the bat. Ragna right off the bat for SoCal? Alright, I see you. Or, fuck, I forgot the plus. Alright. Ragna right off the bat. Ragna is a really strong Shoto character. It's alphabetical order, same as last time. I won't get mixed again. Ragna is a very strong character. Good damage, has good comeback factor, has good, drive, so he's gonna be getting a lot of life back. Really strong footsies. His 2A is ridiculous. His 5A is also mad good. Good footsies, good damage, good enough assists. Like, his assists are pretty weird. His teams are generally pretty good. He has a lot of good teams. I don't think he has any teams that are, like, broken or, like, top tier teams, I would say. But he has, like, access to a lot of strong teams and a lot of... and lastly, I think, like, his matchup spread is pretty good this version. I would say, like, I'm gonna leave him an A+ for now and see how it goes. He might be, like, the best. He's either, like, a really good A+ tier, or he's, like, one of the best A tiers, in my opinion. He fights the meta pretty well as well. Let's just get some quick, easy ones out of the way. That guy goes there, because Adachi is really strong this version. the Zeodyne's fantastic neutral tools, minus 15, so you can't do it point blank, but fucking no shit. Don't throw your fireball point blank. It leads to really strong active switch scenarios. You can set up for like 5B Azeodyne for active switch, and it's like an instant cross up. It's so good. It's with proper team, like good teams, you could do like Azeodyne 6Ps or 5Ps, and then Bezeodyne active switch, and it just sets up for really free mix up for like almost every character in the game. Well, not every character, but anybody with good aerial normals. Such as, like, I mean, obviously Yumi's up there. Asriel doesn't get that much off of it. Other characters, if you have good air buttons, and, like, you can do double overhead low, you can do double, like, you do single overhead low, delay overhead, empty jump low, delay throw, like, empty jump, and then you just go for a throw. Like, it's so good for a lot of characters. Not everybody can use it. I think Adachi is one of those characters that you shouldn't just put on whatever team if you're looking to, like, win with them. I think you should play like a higher tier Adachi team and go about that in your various ways. You can also skip Azeodyne, just go for Bezeodyne with like 6P, like Ruby Adachi. Just go like 6P Bezeodyne active switch, or 6P CC Bezeodyne. What you got? Do 6Ps there? Whatever. JB is super strong. His air to airs I think are strong as well. JA, I feel like most people sleep on it. His J is like really good. Overall great damage. Gets a safe jump off of like any confirm. Because he gets like 5C knockdown. He gets Heat Riser if you do it early enough. You can do command grab, etc. Safe jump for everything. Above average damage. Good air to air. Yeah, JA, like, it's so good. One of the better round starts. Some of the best neutral of the game. In solo game, he's super good. Vorpal Blade is a great meter, like, great one-bar tool. Like, he's so good. I don't know if he's, like, I think he's probably, like, top 5, at least. I don't know exactly. I'm not gonna worry too much about, like, ordering all this, so keep that in mind. While I'm going through all this, Carmine, another ridiculously strong character, ridiculously strong neutral, ridiculously good damage, great access to meter, is one of the few. These two characters are two that use cross raid probably the best in the game, because Adachi's has such a long animation that you can you could use it as a CC ender and then get a free cross raid for additional like 1500 damage for free, and an active switch bonus, so health gain and all that jazz. Carmine gets the similar concept, except his also gives him, like, lets the your assist keep the corner, like your partner keep the corner where normally you'd be tossed out. You get a ton of life back. Insane neutral. His 2C is super stupid. Tick throws off of 2A are free. Yeah, like, this character's insane. Yeah, his assists, like, all of his assists are good. 6P is maybe a little bit on the weaker side, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. But, like, all of his stuff is good. I feel like the only thing that is, like, a weakness for this character is, like, sorry if I hit my desk. I was moving my legs. But, yeah, like, the only thing would be, like, if you aren't paying attention because you're too busy hitting, like, your buttons really hard, then you might just realize that you have no life, and then you just have to play this really, like, keep away game, or you have to, like, find a way to, like, get an active switch safely. Yeah, his 6P enables unblockables. It's really good for Oki stuff. It's just, like, it normally, like, depending on what you're looking for, his, like, you don't have an assist that's, like, super strong for, like, neutral. Because 6P is good for neutral, but it's not, like, ridiculously strong. That's, like, but it varies. Because also sub-teams just don't use unblockables. Like that, so it'll vary. He has super strong teams, super good character. I feel like his only downside really is if you just aren't playing if you aren't paying attention while playing the game, which is not a weakness. Yeah, he's super good. Who are some other quick characters that we can get? Let's not talk about a good character. Let's go to a bad character. This character sucks. Maybe not the worst. No, I don't think she's bottom. I don't think she's like a D tier. And these tiers could vary. I might change them up as I go along. Platinum has a decent neutral game. That JA is pretty good. 5A is pretty good. The damage I want to say for her is actually like average if you do like the actual routes and not just like your baby routes. Her biggest downside though is her assists. Her assists are random for 6 and 5P. Well, 4P rather. 5P is the only consistent one, so if you're trying to have a team, like, it makes building teams around her really annoying because you need characters that don't care about whether, like, not they get the 6 or the, like, whichever 6P they get, because there's, like, 3 different options. As long as it works off of it, it's, like, as long as you have a character that could convert off of your 3 assists in the same way, or at least, like, in a way that you can visualize and confirm it, it's fine. But it really limits her team building. She has some other good options, but, like, I don't know. I don't think she's that strong. She can sub some good mixes. She has some good teams. Like, Kurogane's pretty good. I think that's Vatista's also a pretty good partner for her. But, yeah, like, you can set some stuff up with her, but she's not, like, hopelessly bad. I think she's just, like, the fact that you have to play, like, the fact that you have randomness in your team is hard for me to say that you can consistently do well with the character. Also, some of the matchups just suck. Hey, thanks for the follow. Some of the matchups just suck with her. Do not okay. I want to hear your rant again. Alright. Where's this dumbass? This character's cheap. I fucking hate this character. I'll try not to rant too hard, but, like, you know, his combos off of his DP are super good. Proper teams get insane damage with him. He just shits them out. Divine Masher is like 16 frame recovery. And it's super good. Phantom Pain sets up for a lot of good stuff. He just does shit constantly. If you do throw active switch with any of the characters in this game, and you active switch into Kurogane and just Phantom Pain, you might as well just take the throw. It's stupid. I really don't like this character. His 4P is an individual, like, it's not an assist, it is an actual, you can pick it on the character select screen. Yeah, Kurogane, very strong, like, his only downside, I think, is that 4P is phenomenal. 5P, it's not bad. It's not a bad 5P by any means. It's just not like a really good one, you know? And his 6P, I think, unless you are Yumi, it sucks. It's not that good of a 6P. It's really easy to call out. You can move around it pretty well. And it's just, I don't know, it's got too many holes for me to think that the 6P is, like, actually that good. Unless you have a character that will you can consistently use it as a setup to create an easy sandwich, like Yumi, because her 5B vacuums in. So it's like, that team's ridiculous, and he has some of the best teams in the game. He's cheap as hell. And yeah. Character's super cheap. Very good one. Do I just kill on the train of good characters, or just keep going to some of the easy ones. Akihiko was mentioned earlier. Akihiko is also one of the best characters in the game. Super strong damage, like insane meter game, insane solo game. His assists are really good. Corkscrew plus assist is fantastic. JC is a very strong option to present. I don't remember what the frame data is on it. I want to say it's reactable. Is S but not S+. I don't see S+ on this tier list. Anyways, JC I don't believe is like unreactable. I'm pretty sure you can react to it. It's a good option. His solo game's super good. Like, his 6P is mad good as well. His 5P is mad good. Like, really, really good. 4P is situational. Like, it's not like the best 4P, but it's really fast and it's got a decent enough hitbox. I think his only like downside is that his only like overhead options are from like JC. So yeah, and his low is gonna be a 2C, so he has to commit a little bit more than like some of these other characters for pressure that you can't just like hold up back on. Yeah, he's so good. EX Corkscrew is super difficult to react to. Yeah, really, really strong character. And he has plenty of good matchups this version. All these characters up here have fantastic matchups in the meta, like overall. Like I mean, yeah, like they unless most of the time, unless you're playing somebody else that's gonna be like on this line, most of these matchups won't give you too many problems at a like higher level. Or it's super difficult for some characters to play their games. Obviously, there are exceptions to that, but yeah, typically these characters have fantastic spreads against fantastic matchup spreads. My Natsume. Now, Mai is funny. I'm gonna leave her be for a second. I feel like holding the mouse. Mai is pretty good character. Her anti-air is a little more commitment, but it's also massive hitbox. And it's like really good at catching people. She has one of the better DPs in the game. With DP assist being gone, it has a little bit less functionality as like a neutral tool, obviously. But some teams still do have it. Wald and Yumi are just some of the ones that come like straight out of my mind for teams that still have it and can convert pretty well off of it, if I remember correctly. Her buttons are a little stubby. Not stubby, slow, rather. If I remember it correctly. So it's like, don't get to mash super, like, she doesn't get to mash as hard as, like, a lot of the other characters. I'm pretty sure his things are, like, pretty slow, but her 2A is decent range for a low, and it can stagger. She does below average damage, I want to say, if I remember correctly. Besides that, like, she has a couple of really good teams. 5P, like I said in the chat, 5P is very strong. 4P is pretty good, I want to say. 6P is situational, like, team-wise, it could be super good or super bunk. That assist sometimes is fantastic, other times, depending on your partner, it's just dog shit. So I think B is probably... She's a good character. She has good teams. She has her flaws, though. And... Oh, yeah, her JA is mad good, but it's also, like, slower. And her B series are just projectiles, which is fine for, like, combos, but it feels weird to try to, like... It feels like her pressure is really linear because she only has A's and C's. So you don't have any sort of like way to convert it to anything else besides like a jump cancelable button from her A's, or try to go for like a 2C, or if you want to use 5C. But it's also like one of the 26 frame ones, so safe on block, but it is a very reactable overhead. So yeah, I think B. I'll leave her at B for now. I might move her up to A. She's quite good. She's a very average character in this game. Or like what I would say is like one of those median characters where it's like she's good, she's got teams, but she's not. It's more about the team than it is like she could just like be put in anything and like work out, or if it's like something along those lines. She doesn't have very many teams that are like really like I want to say like super noteworthy. Hilda. All right, so we're about to hot take situation. So Hilda is one of the characters that, depending on your views on the game, she is either right here or a tier above. She is killing the game, and she needs buffs because she is not strong enough. She is definitely one of the most polarizing characters I've heard for this game for a very long time. But I'm gonna leave her like beef real quick. I just want to talk about her. So Hilda, in my opinion, right, opinion zone here, enables some of the stupidest shit in this game. Her 4P is so good. Her 6P is pretty good as well. It's like 4P is like her biggest thing. 5P is also solid enough. But the main thing with her kit is her ability to use active switch. It set up a lot of really strong situations that are like really fast, like high left-right situations off of like a mini things, just because the fact that her 5B is that laser. And she also is able to like set up for mix up with like using the instant overhead or using like car over, use the assist, create a sandwich just off of using JC. And she has very, very good things in that regard. She has very good active switch options, and she is a fantastic support character. Solo, she is dog shit. I will say it. Maybe not dog shit. Maybe I'm a little too rough there. A lot of her buttons have high recovery. She cannot mash. Like her fastest button is like what, 12 frames with 2A. Maybe 11, but that's really slow, considering most of these characters have like 11 frames, whatever the average is 6, or not to say average, but what you call it, characters that will whiff on high are 5 frames, typically. Characters that will hit on both, like high and low, like crouch rather, are 6 or 7 frames usually. And then you have a couple that are slower, like 8, and then she's like 11. So she can't mash for shit. Her 5A is 13. Yeah, it's bad. Her DP, her defensive game, like her defensive options are weak. Her DP is incredibly slow. Her reversals are Like she has that one that's like pretty fast, but it's her, and the way like generally like, so the mashing plus her supers plus DP means that her defensive game is very wish-washy. And she also has good options, like JB is a good option, but if it whiffs, you die. So it's like, she has, I think, some of the best teams in the game. Like Seth Hilda has been mentioned a lot. It feels like been talked about a lot more recently. Is fantastic. Hilda, Yuzu, incredibly strong team. See that with like Pizamayo. It's just so like Hilda Teddy is also fantastic. Hilda 9 is like pretty good. There's a lot of like good Hilda teams because of the fact that she's a good support character. And her resonance game is okay. It's pretty good. But she just will, like, she's so inconsistent. Because if she uses one of her better options, or, like, an option that, like, she goes for one thing that's, like, like, maybe you shouldn't go press 5B here or something, because the hitbox is super skinny, so you can, like, instant air dash over it. So, if she guesses wrong on your approach option, like, once, it's super difficult for her to get out of most of these situations. So, for me, she's either between B and A. I think I'll leave her in A because I feel like the fact that the character by herself, I think, is like C. But her support is like up here. So I'll meet in the middle. I'll meet in the middle here. I think she is just a good character. She's a fantastic support character, but if you take away her partner, that shit's gonna hurt. Not saying she can't win by herself, but like most characters in this game, even though they have weaker tools or things like that, or they have some like things here and there, you can still win with them. Almost I think every character in this game can win. Maybe it just depends on your partner more than anything. Your synergies. I haven't seen anything for other characters, so let's just go alphabetical. Aegis, however you pronounce it, I think it's like right there. Maybe S tier. Really good neutral options, really good mix-up. Like, insanely good mix-up, even offline. Able to apply a lot of pressure thanks to her hover dash, or like, her jets. Gets tons of damage. Really, really high damage for a lot of her bigger openings. Has really good active switch options, has solid enough assists, like 4P is okay, 5P is okay, 6P is similar to Mai. It's like you have to have a team that can use it, because otherwise you're really not using it. I mean, like whatchamacallit, if you were in the stream earlier, whenever I was playing against Omni Scythe, the Susanoo Unblockables, it's super good. Her biggest downside is like the weaker on the assist side, weaker on the support. So she's just a fantastic point with good active switch tools, but she's not one that whenever she's in the back, usually you want a character that's better as a point. It's like she plays like a sort of a double point sort of team. Like she wants good assists, but also wants characters that can at least stand on their own 2 feet most of the time. At least how I see it. So, yeah, I think that she might be S tier, but like it's hard to say. I'll reconsider it. Heart, easy. Fuck this character. Heart is cheap as hell. Heart has very good frame data, very good like air buttons. That JA is, I'm pretty sure, violates some of the things that are mentioned in the Geneva Convention. Like her 5B is quite strong, her 2B is okay. Her assists are pretty good overall. Her 4P is pretty good, 5P is pretty good, 6P is like mad good. Homing dash is so good in this game. Like I'm not an Arcana Heart player. I'll let's just call a spade a spade. But apparently, like, her backdash in those games, or not hovered backdash in those games, also have invuln, which is goofy. That she just has she just can hover at you and block with invuln on startup, and then gets some cheap ass mix up off of it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Character is fantastic. Some of the best mix-up in the game, some of the best, not to say best neutral, I want to say, but like has a very different tool for neutral that a lot of players will just get smoked if they are unexperienced with it. And depending on the experience for the Heart player, you can just set up for stupid stuff. Like, it's a lot of that, you just get hit. Like, will it mix? Sajam, I've had one of the match with Sploogie, and Sajam has in one of his videos where it's like I just get fucking schmixed because Heart wiggling around left, right, who knows. And the fact that she can block, and the fact that she can like DI it so she can go to the ground a little bit faster for some of it, is so good. Such a good character. And her damage is really good. So yeah, Heart, cheap. Real cheap. Let's do one of our... Oh, 9? Oh, easy. Also super cheap. Character's cheap as fuck. Neutral, fantastic. Damage, fantastic. Corner carry, insane. With her off of any, like, real confirm. You can just go for your whatever the kick thing is in the air. And just loop. Able to spin her spell gauge and reset her spell gauge mid-combo to get Morganite, which is a double hitting low that she can set up and do an instant overhead and create unblockables that very few of the cast can deal with in proper setting, like with a proper scenario. Like, her assists are fantastic. Scarlet Vein is like so good. It's projectile invuln. It is really good at calling people out for wanting to throw out a projectile or something in neutral to try to get anything started. Like, she is one of the best characters at dealing with Adachi for that reason, because of the fact that she just is able to Scarlet Vein safely against Adachi, try to go for like a Zeodyne. Has some of the best teams in the game. Not to say some of the best teams in the game, but she has very, very strong teams. Like, Seth 9 is super stupid. And there's a few others here that I'm not recalling off the top. But yeah, like she's got everything you want. Damage, neutral, insane Oki, good mix-up, good assists, good meter game. I don't know what to tell you. This is getting filled out a little bit. Let's go a little bit lower. Do one of our bottom tiers. Kanji. Kanji sucks. Kanji is not a good character in this game. His neutral is ass. His assists are... His 6P is good. I'll say his 6P is good. His 5P is mediocre, in my opinion. And 4P is, like, really... Like, it's okay, but it's also really, like, it's okay in the corner. But you aren't going to be using it mid-screen. And it's a really weird assist. It's great for corner, though. I will say that. But it's, like, it's just weird. Fun and done. I mean, you could be a good player and play a bad, character. I mean, he played Makoto as well. Who plays Makoto? He got top 8 with Makoto Ragna at Super TSB. But yeah, Kanji sucks. His neutral is bad. His movement is so slow, it makes it really difficult. His damage is like not very high. I want to say it's either barely average or below average most of the time. You get some big hits, but like most stuff is weird. He doesn't have a very good anti-air, in my opinion. But yeah, like he's gimmicky. He's a grappler. You can sometimes you just lose because you get scooped 4 or 5 times. Yeah, it's like, and also like if you aren't ready for it and just you're getting EX flying shit lorded, it just happens. But yeah, I don't know. I think this character is like the probably the worst in the game. But again, good timing for the battle music. As I said, you can win in this game with almost any character as long as you are like playing a good team with it, or you're playing like if you're just very good. Like you can. There's so many different teams and matchups in this game that it's hard for like a top player to consistently know exactly what you're doing and how to deal with it, especially if you're quite good. So yeah, like, you can... Alex is the perfect example of that. Plays almost all the teams Alex plays are dog shit. I'll say it. But he wins. He does very well. Yeah, you're one of the players to do that? Shut the fuck up, Yumi Adachi player. Alright, what was the... Yuzu working out? So I'll do Yuzu and then Weiss. Yuzu is a funny one to me, because I'll just set her in A tier for now, and let's talk about her. Fantastic teams. Obviously, those two right next to each other. Great pair. As well as, like, the Mitsuru Yuzu team is still very strong. Still has very good assists. Has above average, I want to say, damage, or average around that area, like, on the upper side. Why? Sorry, Liz. Your timeline's fucked. Wow! Thanks. How you doing, girl? Yeah, like, mix-up is super good. Like, sets up for, like, really good teams. It has above average, I want to say, damage, or around average. Like, it's, was this tier list even for? My opinions have changed since, last I made a tier list. Like, what, it's been, like, almost a year. And a lot of my character opinions, I feel like, have changed enough to where, like, I felt it was necessary. Like, I said Akosky was, like, bad. And I was like, okay, I gotta fix that. But yeah. So, regardless, back to Yuzu. Good tools, good mix-up, good damage, good teams. Like, she's not 1.5 Yuzu. You can't just press 6P and start winning the game. 5P is fantastic, though. The 6P still, even after nerfs, is still quite good. Yeah, I think she's probably A tier. Like, she's not like she's not like one of these sort of power levels, but she's like close to it, I want to say. Is Asriel still C tier? I could do Asriel after Weiss. Weiss. Like, Weiss is weird. I'm gonna leave her in B tier real quick, and we'll talk about her. So Weiss has support. Like, point-wise, she has decent buttons. Like 4A and 5A are pretty good. 5B is a good anti-air, like good enough anti-air. It's also just like she has like really good good options. Her air game is okay with like JA. JB's decent as well. The JC is a dive kick, so it's hard to like evaluate that properly. Or no, it's not a dive kick. It's that the flip, and then she has the special. Yeah, the flip is like combo 2 only. Like, she has good stagger pressure with her low, so you could do like tick throw stuff with it. Assist wise, 6P is pretty good. 4P is meh. 5P is meh for me. 5P, maybe 5P, probably 4P is meh. 5P I think is a little better. But she's got a good 6P. Her damage is like, I don't know her damage. I don't remember her damage at least. It's been a while since I fought one. They see an instant overhead in some matchups. Yeah, I can see that, but how many characters does it work on? And also, does she get like a real conversion off of it without a active switch? Or do you have to like land cancel it? But, Weiss is one of those characters I haven't fought, I guess, for a while. 4P gets set up, sandwich stuff on crouchers. So you have to crouch it. On good routing, so like average to below average. I don't know. She's probably B or A. Ragna if in block stun, gourd, Meek. So it's like a handful. Why is Mika in there? Does Mika actually have a huge hitbox? I don't know. She's either B or A. I'm gonna leave her in B for now. Like, she's not a bad character by any means, but I don't think she's like a top tier contender, or I don't think she's like bad. But I think she's like probably around the average area, maybe up in like A. Mika's crouching hitbox is her standing hitbox. Weird. But yeah, she's probably B or A. I'll as the list goes on, I'll look over and probably change stuff around. Yeah. Let's see. Asriel, my favorite C tier character. Asriel. Hey, how are ya? I played this character for like 2 years. Still play this character from time to time. He is a goofy one. He does insane damage. He has good he has good cash out routes. With that good mid tier placement. I mean B A, like high B, mid A or whatever. That's fine. Not a top tier character. I don't know what you want. You wanna, if you disagree, make your own tier list and post it on Twitter and go for it. Yeah, mid tiers in this game is good. But Asriel has insane damage, has good, whatchamacallit, good meter game with it. Hold up, yeah. Let me, whatchamacallit. Good buttons sometimes. Like 5A is pretty good, 5B is pretty good. But there's characters that have better in both regards. So I wouldn't say they're good, but it's not obviously not like consistently good whenever you look at some of the other characters. Outclassed in a lot of regards with that. Neutral, he's very slow and he has the teleport dash. Teleport dash is both a crutch and a blessing because it can take the corner, which sets up for very easy sandwiches anywhere on the screen. He has good Oki with an assist. If he calls off of his any ender, he calls an assist, dashes, and now it's an easy sandwich. Sometimes the assist, if it doesn't hit meaty, or depending on the situation, it will cross up. The assist can hit meaty and cross up. So once he gets a knockdown, it's Guest City. It's super good. He does have to make callouts with it though, because it's not like some of your enders, like I think Makoto and a few other characters have it, where like you do like your air dash macro, or like Izayoi, where you do like air dash macro and get that. Asriel do it ground dash, does not have that, so he does have to make a hard read, but he can still, like, off of those, get like a Gustav into an assist, like into an active switch, so you're still able to like get like a slightly plus situation. Yeah, like he's got like good buttons, and his damage is, I think, meter for 1 bar is probably the highest in the game. Consistently, he gets at least 7k, at most 12, or no, 11. Yeah, it's like 11k off of like a counter hit 5B starter, which is not super uncommon to get, weirdly enough. And then he can always add more to that with either CC or that Susanoo gets 10 to 11k in the corner. Yeah, but like mid-screen wise, he gets like 7. Asriel's mid-screen routes are his corner routes. At least whenever you take the bar into consideration. Yeah, he's got super high damage, and he's got good Oki with an assist. Without an assist, he has very weak Oki. He just doesn't get shit half the time. You have to go for a very particular routing for, like, in the corner, for example, you have to go for like a DP route and then go for like instant air dash to get like a proper consistent pressure. Otherwise, you might get fucked up. His neutral is really bad against a lot of the cast. His air buttons, he has JA, which is okay. It's a pretty good air button in terms of like in the air dash area, but like air to airing, very inconsistent, very hard to deal with. So if he finds the hit, he is super good. And then he can rob you. Because his damage is ridiculously high. He can do, off of an assist, sandwich 50-50, whatever. Like, do dash assist, get a mix-up. Super, it's 7k. Depending on if you had 3 bars, that's a dead character. Like, he's really good at robbing. Super high robbery character. But neutral, I think, is super bad. His 5p is okay. It's on the weaker side for 5ps, in my opinion. It has very little block stun. It has good hit stun, so it's weird for pressure. 4p is situationally a fantastic assist because of characters like Nu or other projectiles in the game, besides this guy and Narukami. Anybody with a Persona projectile, it's not very effective against. But yeah, like 4p is situationally useless or fantastic, so very matchup dependent. In his 6p, if you have teams that could properly use it, it is fantastic. It forces you to push block because it has like a full second of block stun. But on the contrary, if you have a team that isn't using it properly, it is pointless. It is very bad. So you're in this weird spot. His good teams are quite good. Adachi Asriel's quite good. Asriel Gord's quite good. Asriel, like, Akihiko is quite good. They aren't like top tier teams by any means, and they run into matchup problems versus a lot of the cast. Or he rather runs into matchup problems. It is very reliant on his assist. So you can just get the robbery and win with him, but I don't think he's not up here. I don't know. He has better frame data than Hilda though, but he has way worse neutral wise. He doesn't have nearly as strong options, doesn't have nearly as good active switch tools. And a lot of his stuff is super like risky at times. But yeah, I think B tier. But I'm also a renowned Asriel down player, so take this with opinion as the guy that's played the character for 2 years in every single version of this game, and is looking at it in the sense of every one of these characters shits on him. Whatchamacallit? There was, you put Seth in A or B tier? Let's do Seth. I put Seth as one of the best characters in the game. His damage is his damage is either below average or very much above average. His damage is super skewed. Orbs are fantastic. Thank you for the follow, Claire. Orbs are super weird because they're either like they're quite good overall and they're very low commitment to set out most of the time. Good neutral, fantastic neutral, along with those orbs. Has really good specials. Has a 5p that crosses up, so it gets set up for insane sandwiches. Has fantastic teams. Some of the best teams in the game. Yeah, obviously Yumi is a fantastic partner. 9 I briefly mentioned. Kurogane I feel like is probably a good partner. The Adachi team's pretty good as well. Like, I hate the word neutral skip, but yeah, the EX, whatever the fuck, 214C is so good in neutral. It gets you punishes from super far away. It's really good to set up for, like, call in your assist and then just active switching into it. Like, it leads to good damage if they do not have a burst available. Just fantastic. Has a command throw, which obviously seems is a little bit weird. The Carmine is also decent team. Yeah, like I feel like most Seth has a lot of good teams or a lot of usable teams. Has some of the stupidest mix-up. With just stupid mix-up, stupid pressure. If you have an assist to back you up, you can get like, I think it's like 3 or 4 overheads obviously it's like an older version for this mini story, but when talking to Kubo, I talked to Kubo at Evo about Seth because I'm a big fan of Kubo, and we were chatting about Seth because I was curious since America did not have a Seth player at the time, and we played a set and he wiped my ass, and I was like, okay, well what are some good things about Seth? And he was like, yeah, the Seth Hyde team is super strong, but Seth 9 is much better. You get 4 overheads at any one time. And it's like, what? I'm sorry? You say fuzzy situations that lead into 4 overheads? And ridiculous pressure? This character's goofy. Super goofy character. Has some, I think it's overall, if you're trying to look at the full package, is a complete, really strong full character by themselves. Has fantastic meter, fantastic assists, and if you want to look at in terms of teams, which is why Hilda's here, because she has good teams, this character works with everyone. Not everyone, but as far as teams go, it's oh yeah, this is a good team. This is a good team. This is a good team. This team's probably good too. This team also is probably good. What do you know? This is one of the best teams in the game, in my opinion. Good. It's just so many good teams. This team is cheap as hell too. You know, you need so little for this character to work really well, and he just provides enough for the other partner that it's just fantastic. And sometimes they're just set up for insane shit. This character's cheap as hell. TLDR. Let's see. What should we call it? Where is that? Gord next after Rachel. Oh, I want to hear your funny Rachel pick. Okay, Rachel Alucard. Fuck you, Liz. You said Gord? No, okay, so Rachel, you know, okay, Rachel, overall, I want to say is around average to below average on average damage, probably below average, but is insane neutral, insane pressure, insane specials, 4P. Let me move her next to Kurogane just so that way they can share in the fact of having 4Ps that are their own characters. Her 4P is what is it, you standard assist come in, then 10, maybe less. 6.6 counter hit meterless. What's non-counter hit? Yeah, it's fucking cheap. This 4P wins round starts. So, okay, so that's 11 or 12 frame. After it's 18 plus. Why the fuck is it so fast? Okay, so non-counter hit, it's okay, yeah, standard damage. She uses her wind gauge for insane movement, as well as insane mix-up. George is a fantastic use of meter. And if you ever end up blocking it, I feel so sorry for you, because regardless of where you are in this green, if she has wind, you have to play around when she tries to wind in, and then she doesn't get to mix you up nearly as hard. Instead, she just gets to mix you up very hard, instead of whatever the fuck she does. I have a video of one of my sets with Liz on Parsec, where I'm pretty sure I was baby raging because I got fucking jailed with 8 overheads and 2 lows, because I was mashing super. I'm like, why the fuck was that all a block string? She is fantastic. Sets up Lobelias. The fact that 4P also uses the other Lobelias. Her neutral's insane. This character's actually super tilting. And she's super fast. I'm glad she got buffed. From all the versions where she was pretty bad to 2.0 where she is insane. But top 5 online? Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. I feel online, you also have top contenders is Ragna's Gauntlet Hades. But yeah. I think she's one of the best characters of the game. matchup spread is her only thing. Yeah, I feel like that's probably fair. But she also has good robbery in the same sense. Like if she does, like similar to Asriel, where if she does find that knockdown and is able to get a mix-up situation started, it's super good. And if you are worried about the fact that you may not be able, like you used up too many resources to actually like get in and mix them up, you have options to back off, and it's super fine. So she's like one of these. She's like an Asriel in the sense where you get the knockdown and it's fucking goofy. But instead of having just quick left-right mix-up, it's like left right high low at times. But mostly just jailing with 8 overheads, 2 lows, and she does your taxes. But her only difference is that obviously this character does 1,000,000 damage, this character does average damage. But then for whatever reason, she has that TK fucking super that's plus on block. It's like, what? Yeah. Goofy character, fantastic. I do agree. I think I do agree with you, Liz. Like, a little bit outside of top 10, but like 11th maybe. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it's plus 10. Don't you ever fucking smile emoji at me again. But yeah, I think yeah, she's mad good, insanely good. I probably honestly maybe put her closer to like top 10 if I were to try to order this shit. Yeah, Tempest Dahlia. That's right, she also gets, like, situationally unblockables with Tempest Dahlia. Or very, very unseeable. Fuck it. Unseeable mix-up. That cow is thick as hell. It blocks all that sight. And also, fucking all the other critters that block the vision. But yeah. Super strong character. Gord was, I believe, mentioned. Gord after Rachel. Alright, so here's my take. Bordeaux, despite people saying this tier or this tier, I think, is either B or A. I'll say it. I think this character's pretty good. I'm going to put him in A tier. I think Gordo is better than all these characters so far. So, I just think most Gordo players are... I'll be a little toxic. I think Gordo players suck. For the most part. There's definitely, like, players that I see that are, like, good, but for the most part, a lot of Gordo players will complain about this character while also not playing this version of the character. It is kind of frustrating that, some of this stuff, it doesn't work the way it is, like, way it does. Like, 2B into 5B, doesn't work. But on counter hits, with the second hit, you can delay it. On the regular hits, you can slightly delay it, and it should work at a lot of the times. Yeah, no, I'll slob on my own knob. I'm pretty good Gord player. Yeah, Gears, Steve, Monkey, Texas Monkey, Connie, fantastic Gord players. But it's funny because Gears, I don't think really plays that much anymore because net play is LOL. But still is, I would say, the best Gord player. Steve, I also believe, is a Apex player now. Monkey still plays, and Monkey is quite good. And Connie, also, I'm pretty sure, is an Apex player. Only on Parsec? Gotcha. But yeah, it's like this character, overall, is quite good. Has good... frame data can be lacking, but... and, like, pressure-wise can be a little lacking. Does have the option for a command throw, though. And, damage is about average to... depending on your routes, are either slightly average or above average. And leads to pretty good Oki. If you're close to the corner, you can do Grim Reapers, and you get a safe jump on everybody. If you are mid-screen, you can go for your command throw, your assimilation enders, and get an assist to cover you. If you don't have the assist, then it's still fine. You get okay enough Oki off of it. Like, he overall is quite good. I will admit the weaknesses is going to be his frame data, and his assists are easily fantastic still. Like, his assists are just goofy. Like, 5P is still quite good, 6P is also quite good, 4P is definitely the weakest of the three, but is still, like, quite good. He doesn't have as strong teams as beforehand, obviously. Dante, look, I didn't. You got me fucked if you think this character's bad. But yeah, like this character is quite good. I just feel like most people that will tell you that this character is bottom 5, bottom 10, wherever, either don't play this character, or don't play this character, don't play this game, or is playing like it is 1.0, in which you just could spin and fucking just go around. Grim Reaper, I'm in Resonance, and my existence is EX, whatchamacallit, Gordo. But my existence is just EX Grim Reaper. I Resonance, I spin, if I hit, I do like 9k. If if I don't get it, then whatever, I'm like good, because if you try to mash, I could just EX like Reaper again. You have the same case where it's like, or it's the god. I picked this character up in like 1.2 or 1.1 or whatever, 1.3. After my Set of Fame. So yeah, I think it was 1.3 for Climax. And you literally press 2B, which is an anti-air that goes to the fucking heavens. And then you just said, oh shit, my anti-air whiffed? I'll just do it again. Because if they block it, then I get pressure. And if I don't get it, it's just like there. I haven't played the mod yet. But it's like, it's so good. But now because it has recovery, which is, I feel like is fair for recovery for how strong of the anti-air it is. It's like, oh, boo-hoo, dead character. I can't get autopilot anti-air into fucking easy-ass conversions. It's just fucking stupid. This, I don't know, I think this character's good. I do agree, Dante, I do think he's between B or A, but I also think he is better than all of these characters I am B's so far. So, yeah, I think this A tier's pretty accurate, at least for my thoughts. Let's see. Heart an S tier, cheap character. I already talked about her enough, though. Yumi. Do I need to talk about this character? Fantastic. I could do Yumi the New. Funny character. You don't really need to. Hey, new players. If you are excited to play BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle for the Sony PlayStation 4, the Nintendo Switch, Steam even, and you don't want to work, this character right here, right on your screen, very funny. I learned this character in about an hour, tops, and since then, my life has been great. You just do Aerial Rave and get insane amount of damage. You press 5B, and it's literally this character's 5B, except better, with more disjoint, and creates a mix-up off of like a strike throw sort of situation. And a DP bait if you just don't do anything with it. It vacuums. It's so good. Her jab is fantastic. It's a pseudo anti-air. Her 2B is a little bit on the weaker side. 2A has 8 frame recovery. Count that on your fingers. 8 frames. You can sometimes just hit stop OS with this, which is just you press your button, do your little sweep, and you block the DP for some of the slower DP characters. I don't know how Aerial Rave got through QA, because it has no P2 value, or just does not scale combos. And because if you do the first part, and then the second, with a little bit of a delay, you create a gap, which then you can active switch, and just 50-50. And if you need to push block it, and if the opponent is ready, you could just, if they're ready for the push block, or if they're trying to burn your meter, you could just have the assist, put them in back and push block, use one of the fastest fucking characters of the game, walk forward, do it again, burn all that meter until you get the mix-up. Your JC sometimes is just a DP bait, because it just goes past most characters' DPs. It is a very difficult to react to overhead at times. It sometimes just crosses up in the corner. And yeah, and also, I'm just gonna move this character up here just to show, right? This character has a ice sword assist, right? Similar concept. She shoots an ice projectile that instead, like, that serves kind of like a lockdown, but is a little bit faster and neutral. And also, it just freezes them. The only assist in the game that freezes as well. Quite good. Her 5P, you need to push block it. You're gonna find a common theme of this character is that you need to push block her. Because 5P is one of the best lockdown tools in the game, in my opinion. It moves super far forward, has a lot of hits. Sometimes even if you push block it, if you try to overextend, the follow-up with it is just quite strong and can contest people, and then you can convert off of it. Her 4P is also quite good. Yeah. She does have some issues against some of the mid-range characters here and there. I won't say she is super... I say all this, right? But I don't mean to say all this to say, like, she's, like, the single best character in the game or anything like that. I don't agree with that. But I think a lot of what she does is super easy to execute. And she's super easy to execute. She is super strong in what she does. She has fantastic meter game, fantastic resonance game. And, like, yeah, like, she's just very, very good, very consistent, has a lot of good teams that are also easy to execute. She is fantastic in what you would expect from this game. She is quite good. I have not looked at chat for a minute. Yeah, it's fucking... God, I need to make it. I don't know if I want to do a fucking clickbait thumbnail or not. But yeah, it's she's quite good. She does have some issues in like matchup regards. But I don't know. Snowbird, Snowbird is a ridiculous projectile because it has no recovery. Like, yeah. Good character. New was next. So all the stuff I just said about Yumi does not really apply to New. Whatchamacallit? New has okay damage. Has okay mix-up options. Can set up for some good stuff for... Maybe she's... I'll put her in B for now. She might be C, though. I think she's probably C. But, has okay damage. The swords don't give too much damage, though. So your zoning is a little bit on the weaker side. The zoning is overall pretty weak. I don't know what her anti-air with like 4A is. I know 2B is not quite good. Like she off of her swords, if they do block, you can do your dash through and then call an assist. So, yeah, but I'm talking about all of her other buttons. Whatchamacallit? Swords give no damage, but she's able to set up mix-up off of it. She has good teams. She has... I don't recall all of her air normals in this game. I don't recall all of her air normals, but I want to say her air game's okay. Or I'm pretty sure she has like the falling overhead mix up with it. She has okay assists, good supers, I think. JC is quite strong, and it's a good mix-up tool in like a sandwich because she just go JC active switch, JC no active switch, pick up an assist, 2C, things like that. She's either B or C for me. Hilda versus New's reward is another thing to keep in mind. Yeah, kinda. Similar character concepts, different skew in the results. I will agree with that. I also will say that they do both set up very similar, like very strong characters in terms of like setting up their sandwiches and then try to start the mix. But I feel like Hilda's is a little bit easier, as well as she has a better, it's like her active switch tools are a little bit more effective to get to, as well as she has fantastic assists, whereas Nu's assists are much weaker compared to Hilda's, because her 4P is not nearly as strong as Hilda's. The 5P is also like not that good, or not as good, I want to say. And 6P is very situational for a lot of teams. So I do agree that they are very similar in terms of like their concepts and what they're going for, but I think the fact that Hilda's like non-active switch support is much higher, as well as creating like a little bit yeah, I think that's gonna be the main thing. Yeah, I think B or C. I'll probably just put her in C for now. I don't know. That I'll adjust as need be. I'm gonna go through towards the end and look through it. Bad matchups are really bad. I mean, yeah. She does not have good matchups. Or, like, most of her matchups are not that good. And she does get kind of steamrolled in a lot of matchups. Was there another one on the list after New that I may have missed? I could just do Jin. I'll do Jin. I think Jin's like probably B or A. Jin's a weird one. I feel like my opinion of Jin might be skewed. I'll do Merkava after. I feel like my opinion of Jin might be skewed because I only fight this character with Susanoo as the partner, and it's Fame. So it makes me think this character is a lot better than what he may actually be, because that team is super cheap. But he has good neutral options. The change to now have CFJC, like the full stick out in the air, is quite good as a neutral option. Ground game's pretty good, has good assists overall. 5P is pretty strong, 4P is fantastic, 6P is really good with the right teams, which all of his good teams have fantastic uses for it. Snowflake is fantastic. It's a way that you can set up for some pressure on incoming. You could use it to active switch, like Snowflake active switch, and just mix up that way. That's like really good. I think this character is quite good. I want to say his damage is average or about there. I think he may be here. Yeah, I think I might leave him an A. I think he's actually quite good. Though again, I will be full frontal with that. The only player that I've fought with this character in the past year is Fame, and obviously he plays Susanoo, and that team is hilarious in the sense that you literally get one mix-up, and then you have to hold unblockables all day. And Fame is quite good at confirming from these unblockables, regardless of like if you get grabbed, if you CC, if you do anything. Very good and very consistent at keeping pressure on and making you constantly get hit and die. So obviously my opinion may be skewed, but I am a product of my environment. Merkava. Jin feels underexplored. The only time I see him is with Fame in the Japanese Yujin. Yeah. I actually don't know the Yujin. Okay, so I'll do Merkava then Hyde, doing the Under Knights. Merkava has been kind of toned down this version compared to 1.5. I'm gonna put him like here for now. Merkava has fantastic rebeats, good overall frame data. The assists are quite good. 6P is quite good, 5P is pretty good, 4P is... Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, he is Korean. Yeah, Okanda's quite good. Or Okada, rather. But yeah, Merkava, 4P, I still think is a war crime. 5A is a war crime. Good neutral, good mix-up still. You know, JC into EX Fireball is still quite good. Like, has pretty good teams. Definitely not the menace that he was, but at the same time, still is like consistently good. Still has a lot of strong teams. Still has good players. Like, it's. I think he's probably A for me. Maybe higher. I don't know if I put him in A plus. Because he isn't. I don't think he is the same regard of like that makes Ragna A plus or like I just A plus. He may be though. I'll have to wait to see, but I don't know. I'm a very, very firm believer of Merkava's is quite strong. But I'll have to see exactly if how that goes. What? Who was next? Hyde? Hyde is on the list somewhere. There he is. Hyde is mid-tier, I think. Hyde's funny. So his damage is below average most of the time. He just does not deal that much damage. He has some openings that give him a lot of damage, but overall, like, his average damage is lower than most. He has good frame data. He has good rebeats, with like rebeating it to 2A. He has some good mix-up options off of like jumping in and doing like 3 overheads or into like a low or 3 overheads throw, things like that. He was it EX Spin Sinister is also pretty good. I still don't like the phrase neutral skip, but it is what a lot of people call it, and it is what it is. It is a very, very strong neutral option. He has great support value, but I think the biggest thing that draws him back is his damage, and a lot of his teams kind of moved on from him. Like, his support value is quite good, but a lot of his older teams kind of just went different venues, or the characters kind of like fell off more. But I think he's like the mid-tier. He's good. He's got like the full package, but the only thing is that he hits like a wet noodle. He does have mix-up, which is very good. But it's not like the Rachel situation where you get like tons and tons of the mix-up. He just kind of gets a few good openings and then has just trying to resets back to neutral. Yeah. I think I feel comfortable putting him in mid-tier. Mid-tier's not bad. Yeah, Seth Hyde was good. It was fantastic. It was one of Seth's best teams. But yeah, Seth Yumi, like it feels like. Sorry. He just feels like what like he kind of got left behind. You know, he just got Street Fighter 5. You know, get left behind. Is chip gimmick underwhelming? In Resonance, I mean, you could just straight up rob somebody. Like, with Resonance Chip, it's very good. And if he does, like, Chip is strong in this game, in my opinion. And that's where he does try to make up for in his damage. But it's just very... Outside of Resonance, it is sort of underwhelming. Because the fact that you can just recover a lot of the damage... I don't remember if it gives red life or not, but it's just the case where a lot of the openings, you have to work through so much life, and you're cool with blocking about a lot of the time, and at least for me. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's like mid-tier area. Let's see. Tank opinions? I can talk about Tank. I hold Taeger in a high regard, so I don't know who Kuma is. If you're talking about Kubo, Japanese Seth player who used to play Hyde, moved on to Yumi. Okay, Kuma is Teddy. Right. Oh, I just... Yeah, I forgot about that. I was just, because we were talking about Hyde, so I was like, oh, Kubo? There's like a B and O instead. Even though there's no guarantee that you actually get it, plus given his team spread, yeah. He kind of like is yeah, he did. But yeah, his team spread is also a little bit weaker. Like I was saying, like his teams kind of just moved on because it was just like they're just better alternatives. But yeah. So Tank. I think Tank is a good character. Like most of his buttons have frame 4 armor, which is pretty good considering a lot of his frame data, and or at least like for a lot of characters, it could be a decent mash option. And it's a little bit more of a mental tax to try to like play around it. Like Asriel, for example, could do Gustav Foray, and if the tank mashes, because of the armor, Asriel can jump cancel it, but you have to be ready for it, and you can't hit confirm it. It's just like straight up, you gotta hold it up while doing it, and it just pray. He's got decent enough neutral options. He's got set play with that JC unblockable. He's got the lasers are fantastic zoning options. He's a good character. He's got good resonance. His assists are pretty good as well. 4P is quite good. 5P is I want to say it's better than most, or like it's a okay 5P, but 6P is pretty good. His laser game is quite good. A lot of his teams set up for good stuff. 6 super. Doesn't have invuln, but who cares? He does have bad matchups, but I think overall, like he works in a lot of situations. He has plenty of good teams. JC being the unblockable that it is, can set up for very good like Oki scenarios, and even like some neutral situations can be really annoying because you could just fake it out with like jump laser, or like call it like jump laser plus assist, and yeah, it's good. When are me, Fame, and Timpa's gonna do one? If they want to do a group tier list, I'm down. Yeah. He's got good pressure too. He's got good damage. I feel like he's got I think he's got things that make a character good in this game, like or above average. I hold him in a high regard. But yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. He has the parry DP, which is pretty nice for, because I don't know. I personally think those DPs are quite good, like the Kazi Blitzkampf DPs. Oh, every team possible? Hell no. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, I think that's. I think. I'm gonna move Merkava like forward. I'm not organizing this, but I'm just saying like Merkava might be one of those characters that goes up. So I'm kind of moving forward. But I think Blitztank is like a slightly what I think he has everything that you want to be above average. I mean, you don't want to think about how good a team. Yeah, no, I don't think there's any merit for anybody to go through every potential combo of every team, because one, that is way too much work, and it's like it's way too much work in the first place, and then there's just so many bad teams, and then it's also the case where obviously, like, I don't play Noelle. I don't think either like most people play this character, so it can be hard to say what makes this character's teams good or bad, or what exactly of all the 52 potential pairs will work out. Regardless, yeah. So yeah, I think Blitztank is like overall a above average character, not like super strong, but is good enough. He's good enough, and that's quite good for this style of game. Was there one that I? Oh yeah, there's Kuma and there's Hakuman. Teddy, I think is like right here. I think this character is quite good. Teddy has good frame data, has good routes, is very, like, the items can be sort of underwhelming at times, but then other times they're just like, what the fuck do I do against this? He could set up for kind of chaotic neutral at times. His damage can be good. His assists, Tomahawk Missile's fantastic. Bear Drill is really good. And his 4 PP good item toss is here nor there. I don't think it's necessarily a bad one, but like it's situational because it's the similar concept to what we're talking about with Platinum, right? Where it's obviously his assist isn't random like Platinum's, but it's the case where the value of it will differ because of what items you're on. If you're gonna get like Curry, and it's just in a situation where Curry doesn't work, then it's like meh. But then if you're gonna get barrels or whatever, the shit that falls down like the meteors, yeah, that's pretty good. I think it just varies. The 4P varies from being unimpactful to very good. Yeah, assist-wise, got that. He's also got fantastic teams. Bear Drill allows for a cross-up, which sets up for a very easy left-right mix-up. And he also can just loop it for good damage as well. Yeah, like all of his partners who like love it. 5P is very fast. You're here to grief Twitch chat, sub Brimner. Yeah, I think he's just very, very good character. I don't think he's like top tier by any means. I think I feel like he's just he is very good, but I think these characters are just better. For a lot of regards, like maybe just a little bit better neutral, maybe better damage, maybe X, Y, or Z reasons. But yeah, he's just pretty good, like very good actually, but just outclassed. Not as outclassed. Hakuman. Hakuman is at least here. Subkara? He's at least A+ or S tier for me. But again, that's just how I view him. The character's super annoying to fight. At least for me. Has obviously he's slower and neutral. He has good buttons though, like 5A and 2B and whatnot. 5B can be really annoying. He has fantastic damage, good pressure. His DP is really annoying to deal with, but that's just a me thing. I've always had a hard time punishing him since CF for using his drives, so I usually go for a throw. This game, you cannot throw his drives. So timing like the punishes can be super annoying. Sometimes you just guess wrong, and then you eat a Yukikaze, and then it's like, oh shit, well, here we go. He has the overhead low move, which I don't know the name of. That is very slow overhead, but it allows... I'm bad at dealing with it. I'll just be real. I'm very bad at dealing with it. Even if you block the first part correctly, usually it's accompanied with an active switch. Even though, like, it's like, whatchamacallit? You could use it, you could active switch, you could use it, you could CC active switch to get a little bit like, more other things started, but regardless, usually it's the fact that you have to do that while paying attention to the other partner, which sets up a mental stack situation, which is always good to have. Fantastic, just fantastic. You could do, whatchamacallit? He has that EX charge move, which can be pretty good in neutral. Obviously, it does cost him a bar, but it's a decent option in neutral because it is safe and it is it could counter poke very well, and you get a million fucking damage off of it. Yeah, I think he's just a fantastic character. His assists, 5P is pretty good. His 5P, I think, is probably one of the better, like, standard 5Ps. 4P is also quite good. 6P is situational based on your teams. It is either a really strong option that can, like, change the way the opponent wants to play the neutral. And obviously weaker teams, it's just a non-factor. It also depends on, like, when you're calling it and stuff. Is he better than the characters I have so far? Maybe. I'm gonna put him. I think he's probably, if not the best A+ character, he's or borderline S for me personally. Yeah, and also I just hate fighting this character. He's so frustrating. So I don't. I lose my cool pretty quick against him. But this is that's my take on it. Was there any ones that I missed? It does not look like it. So I will go with the other character. I'll do Ruby afterwards. Akosky. Originally, I did not know very much about this character, and every Akosky that I played was kind of bad. I'll be real about that after release. So my opinion on him kind of was pretty skewed based on my last one. I think he's kind of like BBTAG. Not this area? Maybe this area, I don't know. So he's got good frame data, he's got good damage, he has really strong active switch options, his assists are quite good. Like all of his assists I think are good, 6P is good, 5P is fantastic, 4P is pretty good too. And he has fantastic teams. Yeah. His anti-air being 5B could be a little bit rough. He also does set up for consistent unblockables. With his Bitatsu having that overhead part, and then having any character with like a fast low. Quite good. It forces a lot of push blocks out. So I would say like that A+ area personally. Like, yeah, he's one of these characters that is very simple in terms of like what he does, but everything that he does is pretty good. I'd say like, yeah, probably this A+ tier. I think he's better than all the characters I have here so far. I mean, he might go down though. He might go down. Ruby. Insert the English voice acting. Wah wah wah. Ruby is. I'm timing you out. How do I time you out? Whatever. Liz, shoot Bremner for a second, please. I can't look at Ruby. Anyways, yeah, JA, like, I mean, Ruby's, the buttons play themselves. They're quite good. The assists are, the 4P is like one of the fastest assists. It covers such a good range. It has good hit stun and block stun. 5P is also very good. 6P is very good. All of her buttons just work. 5B has been meme to all hell, even after getting nerfed a little bit. Still fantastic. JC is also very good. Like, has some of the best teams in the game. Is such enabling neutral due to her move speed. Her JA, like her just air normal, she gets like 3 JAs and a neutral, like a normal jump before, like rising JA, medium JA, and falling JA. It's literally the rising actions, the climax, and the falling actions of a story, all in one neutral jump. Or forward jump, rather. Like, it's quite, I've said it a few times now, and I don't want to keep repeating the same words, but quite good. Good pressure, good mix-up, good damage, good corner carry, good teams. Like, she is and she's also a very basic character. So she doesn't run into a lot of issues in terms of like, oh, well, this tool is a little bit more of a gimmick versus this character or that character. A lot of her stuff just works. And she has very unique answers. To most, not to say unique answers, but like her teleports are good at stalling out against like Adachi or against characters that want to be around the ground more. And assist to cover the ground game can be also quite good to pair with her. for if you're just trying to stall. And I haven't mentioned that too much, but yeah, she also is like consistently has good matchups versus most of the cast, if not going even, just winning. Obviously not always the case, but I feel like she overall consistently is like just has fantastic matchups. Yeah. Makoto. So Makoto is a funny one because just let her see for a little bit. Because I feel like I don't know. I feel like she is not the best character. I feel like she has her merits. She does have decent enough damage. She does have a good anti-air. Her DP is fast, so it can be good against a lot of like try to call out certain safe jumps. And has good enough pressure. Her 2C on incoming is funny because it can low profile most characters' incomings, so it is pretty auto time, I want to say. So it's just the case of like, okay, well, I'm just gonna press 2C and then I don't have to deal with your incoming. She does have the instant air dash macro that allows, like, with an assist to cover her ground. Like, well, you know, get the whichever way you tech, I'm gonna get pressure or mix up off of this. She has auto. Well, she has the fireball active switch, which can be good. She has weird bugs like like the DP missing an active frame, stuff like that I don't think I've ever seen matter in a real match, or at least in a meaningful way. Like, yeah, like I don't think that stuff usually matters for her. Yeah, her assists are weird. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I think solo. I think she's okay. I actually think she's like, maybe this is just me being stupid or something, but I think she's like average character solo. But her assists are weird. So it makes it where a lot of characters just don't care about her assists because like they're just 5p is pretty bad, 6p is okay, 4p is pretty bad. Yeah, I don't even know if 6p is like okay. Like her assists are just bad, so it makes it to where I think, maybe it's controversial. I think if her assists were okay, she'd be B. But I think it's like, her mix-up is kind of wacky, yeah, as well. Yeah, her 2A is a little bit weaker as well. But yeah, it's something. I feel like I want to put her higher, but I don't know. I don't think the more like I feel like if she just had better assists, dude, she would be like at least here for me. But she is not Hyde, not Asriel, not Myra Weiss so far. So it's like, it's more getting in to do it. I don't know. She's pretty fast. She's got like 5A, which is pretty good for like, what you call it, rounded buttons. I don't know exactly what her air-to-airs are or how they match up, but yeah. I don't know. I think she's probably like the best C tier. So yeah. Probably like one of the best C tiers. Like borderline B, but we'll see. Lenae. Lenae is a funny character. Very similar to Hyde in a lot of the fashions where she does not do that much damage. She is very fast. And she has good rebeats and good normals. And good mix-up options if you have someone to lock down with. But I feel like her biggest problems are the fact that she has like 2 teams. Maybe 3. The only ones I can think of off the top are like these 2, Hyde, Lenae, as well as Lenae S. But like all of the I want to say Lenae Rachel, but maybe I'm misremembering. Lenae Wald, I think that was what I was thinking of. But like she has like 3 teams, I want to say. Like she's does not dog. Gotcha. I was thinking of Wald more than likely. I don't know why I was mixing that up. Yeah, it's the case where she has like no damage. She has good buttons. Her assists are okay. Like 4P, I feel like is meh. 5P is meh. 6P is pretty good. But it's the case where a lot of her teams don't have like the best characters, so they kind of run into a little bit more matchup stuff. Yeah, like Hyde, Wald, and S are all characters that are good, but aren't necessarily like your top tiers or whatever. And obviously, synergy is more important than your like overall placements. But in terms of like matchup wise, you could run into some issues pretty quick with like all those teams. If you have to play solo or if you're isolated or whatever. Yeah, her assists are whack. Her damage is whack. And her teams are a little bit whack, but I feel like everything else about her is fantastic. And yeah, I think B is, similar both to Hyde in a lot of regards. Except Hyde had more teams to start with, and their teammates moved on, but Lenae just never's had, like she's had, like, those teams for quite some time, and hasn't really changed them up since. But having, like, her speed is fantastic. Having the triple jump is situationally really good. Yeah. Foray's annoying. Yeah, no, she's got good buttons. Yeah. Wald. I see. I'm pretty sure I was talking about that, but I could do Wald. Why not? And I'll do S afterwards since we were talking about 2 partners. Wald, I think, is a fucking fantastic character still. I don't know how the fuck people just decided that, I don't know what, but he is cheap as hell still. He does have a little bit more matchup issues, like, a lot of the new characters give him a little bit more problems than, so beforehand. But he still has fantastic teams. He's still consistently good. JA is still violating the Geneva Convention. 2B as well. I think that is probably my most hated button in the game. Right next to Carmine 2C. Has good rebeats. Still has about average damage. Is a grappler. So can, scoop you up and keep scooping you. The command throw super is really strong for calling out safe jumps. He does run into some of the problem a little bit with some of the matchups, but like some of the new character matchups or like some of the older characters as well. But consistently, I still think his tools are good enough to work out. Yeah, that's the other thing. His combos are super long. But he also is a grappler and is slow, so he does run into matchup problems. Kind of like what you're saying, like kind of what you're asking. But against a lot of the meta characters, I think he's fine. But this character shits on Wald. This character shits on Wald. I feel like Teddy also probably does really well against Wald. Oops. 9 just does not let Wald play. I think Yumi is really good against Wald as well, personally. Like, I feel like Wald probably has problems with Hilda. Probably. But I don't know that one for sure. Wald Rachel is barely Rachel favor. I don't know, every time I look at it, I just see pain. So maybe that is just me seeing that being skewed. But yeah, I don't know. Every time I see it, it looks like it sucks, but yeah, Wald is violates the Geneva Convention on like half his buttons, and has very good teams, like consistently good teams. So I'll keep him. I think he's like A+ personally. He's not in this tier by any means, but he's also better than like all these characters so far, I think. What was, oh yeah, S. I was gonna do S, because we were talking about those. S is a funny character. I think S... B-Ray? She... Okay, let's talk. I'm gonna leave her in B for a second. Let's talk about her. The fuck is... Red? I'm sorry. That's fucking funny. But let's talk about S for a second. Fucking... S, it has good neutral tools. I want to say her damage is about average. Her 2B is pretty good. It has a little bit more of the whiff recovery side of things. It has a little bit more vertical anti-air, but still covers that good basis. She has like pretty good teams. Has an instant overhead that she can confirm off of by herself. Like good assists. Like I think 6P. It's not the same. It's not the 6P that everybody like. Whenever this character was fantastic, like broken 6P, but 6P is still pretty good. 5P is pretty good. 4P is like I would say is actually really good. But she has what's the thing with her? Most of the damage is gonna be on the lower end. She does need meter to convert off of the instant overhead, if I recall correctly. And she runs into a lot of matchup issues, I want to say. Maybe I'll leave her here for now. I think she's like... I'm not entirely sure. She might be average, though. Oh, no. She might... I think she's here for me. Maybe she's higher, maybe she's lower. I'll have to look at it. A little bit more later, but... I don't know. She's probably here. Fuck are you all? Y'all are insane. PC tag. Was there anybody that I missed? Yang? Then Taeger? Oh, for RNG? Yang, Taeger, Orier. Okay, so Yang, I hate this bitch so much. This is easily the character I hate the most fighting in the game, right? Like, it's like Yang, then like Hakuman, then Carmine. So like, I fucking hate this. But, it's like, I think... Is she... Yeah, she is. She's so stupid. So... Good damage. You can't burst on her. Like, she just... You can't burst. Because everything that she does is armored now. And if you burst when she JCs, you just whiff for some reason. Or it gets armored, and then you get hit, and then you die as well. Her neutral's fantastic, even outside of just the... Outside of that. On God, this is an actual plea, RNG. Where do I burst against her? Whenever, if she doesn't... Shut the fuck up. But yeah, I legitimately, like... Every time I burst against her, I'm like, huh, did I make a mistake by doing that? Or, so I delay the burst on 2B and JB, and it is. No Yang players ever double jumped in their life whenever they hit you. And if they have, they're fucking up. And then you burst on the JB and then you die anyways. But yeah. Fantastic neutral, fantastic damage. Semblance, it will nuke, will increase her damage. It will nuke you and your Twitch VOD. And will demonetize your YouTube video. 5A in Semblance is a entirely different character. Some characters can burst JC for actual free. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But yeah, like, she has fantastic teams. She sets up for unblockable. She has teams with unblockables. Like, super synergistic. Super good character. Like, I don't know what else to say. She's just like so good. Yeah. She's funny though. She does sometimes just lose off of like one bad armor, depending on the characters or whatever. And her super, like, bionic arm's pretty good, like really good. And her other super is dog shit outside of combos. But yeah, she also has like, yeah, she's just good mix-up, good everything. She's just pretty good at everything, and has fantastic teams. And God, I wish I could burst against her. Taeger is also very good. No, he's like, I don't know. Taeger's weird for me. He's also a very annoying character to fight because he has a lot of tools that. Oh yeah, her bottle rockets are pretty good, but he has a lot of tools that are annoying to deal with. But at the same time, they're also like, they're annoying. But then, like, the moment you just start letting them play, like the moment you let them, whatchamacallit, he's annoying to do Oki against. He's got like he's pretty low damage, all things considered. Z neutral, like negative neutral, because it actually costs him resources to use Spark Bolt, which is like his in on neutral. Sledge can be used for neutral, but it's like very matchup dependent. Because I know, like, for Adachi, it's kind of annoying to see them sledge, because I'm like, okay, well, like, let me just stop using my beam and try to, like, whiff punish. But it's also kind of annoying to consistently, like, punish, because the fact that it is, like, delayable. Yeah, sledge online is much better than offline. Offline is much more doable. Yeah, it is punishable for a lot of characters that just do shit. But yeah, it's a funny one. Yeah, Brimner. But yeah, I don't know. For me, he's probably the most annoying low tier, in my opinion. I don't think he's D tier. I don't think he's as bad as Kanji. I'll say it there. Because Kanji does not have teams. Like, as in, like, you can pair him with other teams, like characters, but I don't think anyone in the game's best teammate is Kanji. Or even in, like, top 3 teammates is Kanji. Like, Kanji Adachi is not a bad team, but it's also, like, one of Adachi's weaker teams. So it's like, why do that? Yeah, I don't know. He's not as bad as Kanji, but he's also not, like, a super strong character. He's just super annoying to fight, for a lot of the times. And I personally don't like fighting him that much. And also because the fact that Wedge Catapult has invuln and does a lot of damage. So it's like, if I do a safe jump and then you eat like 7k or whatever because or more likely because the fact that I just got scooped by a reactable command throw, it not only makes me mad because I got scooped because it was reactable, but also because the fact that I just ate a lot of damage. And I'm like, boo. Fuck this character. Fuck this low tier. It's so reactable. It is. And that's why it hurts more when you get scooped by it. It's unblockable. Orier was mentioned. I think Orier is another mid-tier character, personally. Maybe a little bit better. But so Orier, Now let's talk about it. She might be A tier for me. Her damage is on the lower side of things for the most part. She does have high damaging routes whenever it comes to like CC stuff or certain counter hits, I want to say. But overall, like, her damage is a little bit whack. Her neutral is quite good in my opinion. She has EX thrust, which is very nice. She has good repeats. Her 2B is still cheap as fuck. This anti-air, I will never, her anti-air, I'll never get over. It's so annoying. Her 6P is a good assist, her 5P is a good assist, her 4P, situationally, like, it's a really good lockdown assist, and that's, like, that's good enough, I would say, considering the fact that you can't, like, really push block it. Just, like, send it away. If I remember correctly. It's always, it always skips. Like, this character, I feel like, forget a lot of the stuff she does, and then I get hit by it, I'm like, oh yeah, right. She is, good. She's good. The only thing that she runs into, I want to say, is, like, a lot of her teams, are a little bit annoying, like, or a little bit weaker side. Like, I mean, she has Weiss, but does she have Yumi? Probably is a good team. I feel like I don't see this character have, like, teams. I could be... Oh yeah, Jubei. Yeah, she does actually work with Jubei, with, Mekasue. And Mitsuru kind of works as well, yeah. She might... I don't know. I feel like she's in a similar boat as, like, Hyde, where, again, they're all kind of, like, strong. They've got good tools. They've got their places. They just kind of fall off in terms of teams. Oh, yeah, Izayo is also good teams. So she does have a little bit more teams. I think maybe because she has more teams, maybe here? It's just the case, like, if she has, like, okay mix-up, if she can force a lot of situations that are super annoying to deal with, maybe she's here. Maybe I'm overrating her, though. I don't think she's better than Asriel. Yeah, alright, I just answered my own thing. I don't think she's better than Asriel. So, in Asriel, I think I'm, like, is king of the B tiers. Yeah. Neo next. Neopolitan? I don't want to be famous. Shoot that guy. How do I do that? Yo, wait. No, my friend! My friend E834345VS81! Or Yanot or whatever. Man, they were just trying to hook me up. Or shame. Anyways, Neopolitan. Do I make it? Do I call it? I think Neo. Do I do it? Alright, let's talk about Neo. Neo is a very funny character in the sense that she has very weird assists. Her 5 and 6P are the same. She, like, well, basically the same. It just depends on where she appears. But it's the case where whatchamacallit, you'll endorse this even though, okay, fair enough. I'll back you blindly. Thank you, RNG. The motivation I needed. So it's the case she has whatchamacallit. Her assists are very weak. Her 4P I think is okay at best. 5P is whack. 6P is also kind of whack. Overall, they're kind of nice for positioning wise. Like, you can do little fake stuff with, like, positioning. but her damage is whack for the most part. You can get average damage with her pretty consistently, but like you could get pretty average damage consistently. Her supers do well. Like her Commander super obviously is more of a gimmick, and you usually don't use it for your combo ender. As far as I know personally, I don't use it as a combo ender. I only really spend bar on her whenever I'm going to kill, which is usually 4 bars because her other super does no damage. She has something, like, you don't constantly get the same side that you want on a lot of her routes. Typically, you have to, like, adjust things in really weird ways to try to get them in the same way. Like, get them in this, like, continue on the same side, because otherwise you're, like, right next to the corner, and then you just send them the other way, and you're like, oh, well, fuck me, I guess. Her dive kick, I think, is actually, like, pretty okay. Her JC is pretty good. 2A is pretty good. 5A is kind of whack. JA is a button. I'll tell you what. 2A, well, JA is a very good button. It just leads to, like, Z damage. Even if you, like, get the hit. And her air confirms are a little weird. To, like, try to convert into actual damage. And yeah, her pressure's a little whack, like consistently whack. Yeah, you can pretty consistently side swap when you don't want to enter combos. Yeah, it varies. Hey, thanks for the follow. But yeah. Like, I don't know, she's also I'll be real. I don't know what the fuck's up with her stance stuff. I just hold up back, usually it doesn't matter. And whenever I do play Neo, I just don't use her stances to, like, do the high-low stuff, unless I want to do, like, active switch with it. Isn't it, like, mostly fake? I'm pretty sure. Holy shit, thanks for all the follows. But it's like, yeah, it's more so the case of, like, in the middle of pressure canceling into it, it's like you can react to it offline pretty consistently and just, like, got back out of it. Online, you might just get smoked. Which is, I feel like I've gotten hit more times from Neo stance in Jump Startup than I have actually, like, from a high-low guess. Also, as Oki is just a meme. It's just so fucking stupid. For sometimes maybe you just get hit by, like, the setups are like, okay, I'm going for the high-low for the meaty, and then if you guess right, they just explode. So I personally just don't use it. So, I don't know. Yeah. She has 2 teams, that was already mentioned in the chat. Like, what you call it, Yumi and Carmine. I personally, like, it's not a good team, but I like the Gord team. They do not they synergize well enough, but it's just fun. Neo, that's the weird thing with Neo. She's a bad character, but she's also, like, very fun, in my opinion. You have to fuzzy block it, which is kind of annoying, I guess, for the teleports. Yeah. I don't know, she's very fun. She's one of the most fun characters in the game, in my opinion. For me just to play, have a good time with for a lot of her teams. But she's not a very good character. Yeah. She's not as, the way I'm looking at it is, she's not as good as Asriel and, like, Hyde and whatnot, so I'd keep her here. If she had assists, if she had, like, better assists, I'd probably move her up, or if she had, what should we call it? If her supers dealt damage, then I'd probably move her up, but... did I miss anything? Any potential, ones? I could do Jubei real quick. Because we talked about Jubei and Izayoi. Yeah, so let's do Jubei. Jubei is a very strong character. So I'll do Jubei, Izayoi, Susanoo. Jubei, very strong character. A really good assist. 5P is a good assist. 4P is a good assist. 6P is, like, situationally good. Great binds, great damage. I've not seen this character played 2.0. That is because this character has pretty much had always two players, Mekasue and Elion. And Elion has shown that this character is fucking stupid. And Mekasue has also shown that this character is goofy. Yes, that was 2.0. That was like the first, or one of the first tournaments for 2.0 was Frosties. So there's Frosties, Super TSB, and then the Dark Age. Econ, I haven't watched Econ play too much, to be fair. Yeah, like this character is super good. The drums plus an assist is mad goofy. He has good teams with good characters. Like a lot, like Ragna is a very strong team. 9 is a very strong team. I want to say Yui is probably also a good team for him. And a few others. I'm sure there are other very strong teams that do not come to mind for me because I do not play this. Which got, I don't see this character too often. Batista also is probably a good partner, but yeah, he's got high damage. He's got good mix-up. He's got good partners. He's got good frame data. He's got good 2A. Hiomi, that is true. Yeah, this character is mad good. I don't think that he is as good as, say, all these other characters. I might be wrong in that assessment, but I do believe that he is probably one of the characters that is, like, borderline S tier with all these other ones. Izayoi, Sasquatch. I think this character is really, really annoying. Fucking, have you ever seen Sasquatch from Darkstalkers? The same concept. You get the knockdown, and then you hop at them and do double overhead low, you do single overhead low, you do empty jump low, you do everything. And it's just super, super annoying. But yeah. It's, oh yeah, no, I'll do Yosuke next. Or afterwards, after Susan. All these annoying characters, holy shit. But yeah, Sasquatch here has good normals, has good normals, good pressure, good mix-up. Has 5P is pretty good, 4P is, I think is pretty good. Like, probably really good. And 6P is fantastic. She has good projectiles. Her B projectile in the right circumstances can lock you down, and then you just have this mix-up that's like, you just gotta hold it. You gotta hold that shit. And she has good routing, she has good damage, she has good teams. She's just Sasquatch. Madocat told me that one for CF. I was like, what the fuck do you mean? And then explained Sasquatch, showed me footage of it, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is Sasquatch. Like, that's not to say, like, the players are fucking troglodytes. I'm saying the fucking character is literally Sasquatch from Darkstalkers. Just really annoying mix-up. And constantly. You just hop, like, whatchamacallit, Gainart dash, high-low, Gainart dash, Gainart dash, Gainart dash. The players, too. I've only met nice Izayoi players. I don't know, you guys, you're being toxic. But yeah. Fuck this character and fuck the player base. This character annoys the shit out of me online as well. I know I won't block this shit offline either, and that's the most annoying part. Jesus. But yeah, very good character. Not S tier or anything, but is like, I think, very strong. And has a lot of good partners this version. Yeah, I think cheap as hell. Cheap AF, if you would. Is this semi-ordered? No. It is like kind of ordered sometimes, not really. Like, these are this is ordered. I think Asriel's the best B tier. I think this is ordered, like these two here. And then, like, this is ordered for sure. And I don't know if this one isn't ordered, and yeah, this isn't ordered at all. Yeah, so what you mean Izai can go to PS4 overheating tier? Shut the fuck up. Susanoo. Fucking Dongaru is, I think, is a perfect song to go with Susanoo right here. Because this just is a puzzle. You got good buttons, good frame data. His 4A is the same as 4A is the same as CF, so it's plus like 3 on block, and it's a hit stop OS. Obviously, hit stop OS is a little bit weaker in this game comparatively because of how techs work or whatever. But fantastic pressure option. Like, great. His 5P is a pretty good assist. 4P is a great assist. 6P is a fucking Glock. Bang, 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 fucking block stun. Why does it have a year of block stun? It has so much block stun. You pretty good hit stun too. And his damage, like, well, good point. You know, buttons, good enough anti-air. And then his damage. If he finds the opening, you melt. 6P into 6P being, yeah, CC is a block string is so cheap. Yeah, I think you can post links. I'm not gonna click on that. I'm gonna be real with you, but yeah, it's the case of, like, yeah, the 6P is super good. His damage is super good. He actually has unblockables. He just, I think, runs into some matchup issues. Like, I feel like he has a harder time against some of these top tier characters, but he also is a super robbery character. Because of the fact that, like, he just, if he finds that hit, you can't burst against him. Because if he smells weakness and gets that burst punish, you die. And obviously, my opinion of I want to say he's like an S tier, but I feel like I'm judging it based off of fame for that point. So that's probably what you call it, just the probably my environment type shit. Is super good. Gets the corner off of every hit, gets a safe jump off of it, forces mix up. If he doesn't force mix up, he forces an unblockable if you play like Carmine or Jin, as we mentioned, or Aegis. I feel like other teams also probably get this, but it'll vary. But yeah, super good character, and yeah, like excuse me. I don't know if he's gonna be S tier or not, but we'll have to see. I feel like S tier is so fat though. But granted, there are a lot of fucking stupid characters. Frog in my environment. Did I say frog in my environment or product in my environment? Hey, thanks for the host, Kuzman. What's poppin', B? We're talking about tier lists. What was one of the ones that I said I would do after? Yosuke. I hate this character. Very good character, I think. Probably here. Maybe either one of these two for me personally. If not this the ordered TM, the best of A type character, maybe A+. He's got great damage, he's got good pressure. He's got the persona pressure is super good. He's got annoying to deal with, like, air mobility, and It's not. It's not. Shut the fuck up, Kyle. It's not ordered. For the most part. Yeah, like his pressure is annoying. His mix-up is pretty good. He's got the EX flip now, which can be really annoying to deal with. The JC is kind of annoying to punish. You could punish it pretty well, but it's just it's like goofy. He's got good teams. Yeah, he's got really good teams. His 6P is fantastic for an assist. 5P is also fantastic. 4P has a little bit to be desired, but with the other two, you're just nitpicking at that point to try to, see which, whatever. Like, two fantastic assists, great teams. Like, the Adachi team is fantastic. Whatchamacallit? Adachi team is fantastic. Huey team is probably very good. The Narukami team, I actually was looking because I can't believe I haven't put them anywhere yet. Narukami team is fantastic. Yeah, it starts up, it's pretty fast. But yeah. Quite a good character, I would say. I feel comfortable going at the A+. Granted, I will note that, maybe my opinion is skewed because of netplay. Because this character on netplay is Monka Giga is rough. So yeah, I don't know. Character on netplay is a sin. I hate dealing with him. I hate dealing with him offline too. He's also one of the characters I just haven't liked fighting. I say his 5P is lackluster. I think it's pretty good. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to safely say because I feel like offline I've had much more success on dealing against Yosuke than online, where online I'm just get hit by flips all the time. Usually it's like something. Like usually it's really good. Or really hard to deal with rather. I mentioned Narakami. Let's just get that out of the way. It feels weird having S be so fat, though. But there's so many cheap characters. Narukami is cheap AF. He's got good enough damage. He's got, like, average, maybe below average area for some of the damage. He's got looping set play. He's got fantastic assists. 4P is a good assist. For the, like, it's situational, but for the most part, but it's a good assist. 5P, fantastic assist. 6P, fantastic assist. His persona pressure. He has only persona pressure, basically. Everything that he does, you have a hard time push blocking against. They made EX Car safe on block, so it means that you can sometimes just check your opponent for doing it. EX Zio is plus, like, a lot. So it's a very good option to check your opponent with. To see if they're respecting or whatnot. You also can just frame trap them a lot of the time and call them out if they do not feel like they want to respect EXEO. Excuse me. He is a very, very good character with some of the fantastic teams. The Adachi team is quite good. The Karmine team I feel like is really good. This Kurogane team I don't know necessarily about. Akihiko's fantastic partner. Ruby, fantastic partner. Yumi, I feel like is probably also a good partner. Etc, etc, etc. He has a lot of teams. He just works. He just works on a lot of shit. And he's got insane mix-up, and he just keeps repeating it. And it's like, okay, well, what do I do about this? JC, I feel like is a little bit better online, obviously. Well, it's not, I don't feel like that. It's just better online. But I don't know necessarily if it's, like, quite as good offline. Because it's been a minute. Yeah. Character's cheap. Also, yeah, Susanoo team's quite good. And Yosuke mentioned, etc, etc, etc. A lot of good teams, very strong character. The only thing he's, like, lacking is, like, damage, for the most part. But he has routes that are, like, very good. Yeah, JAC versus... Yeah, the double... Yeah, no, that's That's fair, but I was talking more about, like, just, like, walk up, like, 2A JC type shit. Or, like, jump cancel JCs. But yeah. Narakami is fantastic. There's something that got brought up. Let me... Oh, okay. Brent sent me a macro for 14. Somebody got mentioned. Mitsuru? Or was it, Yeah, I don't remember who else was mentioned besides Mitsuru. Oh, Blake. Somebody mentioned Blake before Mitsuru. Blake, I think, is also a very good character. Damage-wise, solid enough. Damage-wise is solid enough. Has very strong neutral options. Very fast character. Good pressure. Good mix-up. Like, very good mix-up. Setting up clothes to potentially do, like, shadow pop into, like, high-lows. Able to cross up with the 5Ps. Even with the 5P crossing up as well as just the special move, setting up for incredibly easy sandwiches with the character. So just making very, very dangerous situations out of what normally would be just, like, pressure. Like, we're like, okay, I have to hold this and then, like, respect this a little bit. But now it's like, okay, I did a safe jump and I called 5P, so now I'm sandwiching you, and I have an active switch option. So my Oki now is creating sandwiches everywhere. Depending on your team. Very good character. 6P is very good as well. 4P, pretty good as well. It is something. It also, like, she can steal the corner. I don't know what that's about. Just steal the corner randomly, do an assist. GLHF, you know? Yeah, it has fantastic teams. The UE team's quite good. I want to say the 9 team's also good. Yeah, like, she's got good shit going on. Organic tier list? I don't know what that means, but, yeah, I don't know where its organs are, though. Who do we do next? Yeah, she is kind of goofy. Yeah, cornball ass, 5P. Let's do Mitsuru, since that was mentioned for A+ tier. I'll do Noel after, so I can shit talk Noel players. Mitsuru, I do actually kind of want to say is A+. Here's the thing, Mitsuru... I'm fucking with you. Maybe, I don't know. Mitsuru is quite good. Obviously, she was left unchanged, effectively, from 1.5. She has new issues with some of the new characters matchup-wise, and a lot of the buffs to some of the characters means that they could at least play with her a little bit more consistently. But at the same time, she still has a fantastic JA, a fantastic instant overhead JB, that is like implying that whatchamacallit, she didn't get any new teams. That's fair, and Yuzu did get nerfed, which was her most popular team. But there's another character that got buffs that is one of her best partners, and it is this guy right here. Is quite a good team. The Susanoo team, I think, is quite good for Mitsuru, personally. As well as I think the Adachi team is okay. I think it's not necessarily the best, but it's okay. Yeah, she does have some team issues, and she does have some new matchup issues, which I think is a fair enough argument for A+, which I might do. In my opinion, Mitsuru Akihiko is her best team. We got there. That's been her best team, my man. That one team was better than Mitsuru Yuzu. It's just that the team was a little bit harder to play than call Dwal plus 6P. But yeah. I don't know. I think it is a fair thing to say. I think she's either the bottom of S tier or like the top of A+. Yeah, I think that is fair. It just feels so weird having to be so fat, but I guess that happens when we have 53 characters. Uh, yeah, I guess that's just what happens whenever you have a bunch of good characters in your game. Uh, and yeah, Mitsuru, fantastic damage, fantastic mix up, good enough assists, good as active switch tools. Yeah, I might have to split this up a little bit. Uh, but yeah, good character, quite good character. You missed Lenae. There's gonna be a YouTube video. There's also the Twitch file that you can go back into to look at. Yeah, I think this is fair. I might make a new tier or whatever to kind of even this stuff out. But yeah, what was Elizabeth was mentioned? Yeah. Oh, Noelle. Right. I get to talk some shit. I don't like this character. Like, she has like a assist. She has a assist, like 5p. I want to say it is good. I used to sympathize with this character. Sup, Omnix, what's going on? Hope you like your Twitter timeline. Her 5p is good. Her 5p is fantastic. 6p is very hit or miss for me. It's good if whatever it like works, but the rage is so lackluster. And her 4p is not good in my opinion. She does not have that much damage. Her corner carry can be useful at times. She actually has like probably better than damage than what I'm giving her. And the biggest thing about her is that her bullet dance or whatever the thing's called, like bandit revolver or whatever, her drive stuff, is whatchamacallit, super gimmicky, and it could just explode somebody. Whatchamacallit, it's super gimmicky. I don't like the character that much. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just a me thing. But yeah, I don't think this character is good. I think she has teams. I think the Yui team is pretty good. And I think she probably has another team somewhere. Yeah, overall, I don't think this character is quite good. She might be C tier, but personally, I think she is probably like bottom 4. Messages happened. Move Hilda down, and I'll allow for everything else. So as I said for Hilda, if you for a quick TLDR because you're a homie, was the fact that Hilda is good. She enables a lot of the stupidest stuff in the game. Her assists and support value are super good, and her active switch value is good, and a lot of her synergies allow for really stupid teams. Which I think that makes up for the fact that she is good. Like, that alone makes up for the fact that solo and defensively, she is really bad. And then, if she has good options that are like, JB is good, right? But it's the case of if it connects, it is quite good, and if it whiffs, you die. So she's like really weird. If I had to say, without all of the teams and without her like ability to enable a lot of characters, I would agree she's like B. Personally, I would put her C. But I think her enabling ability and her like all of her options that she presents, I think puts her, at least for me, in like this A area. Not above these characters, but just in there. Noelle, I literally just explained. Whatchamacallit. And this might just be me not liking the character, but I feel like every time I fought this character, I used to say I liked this character a lot, but I just felt like she had something going on there. But then every time I fought a Noelle player, I get like, I wonder, am I wrong there? And I think I am wrong. I think she's probably D or C, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to see. I don't know. And as far as to there's a thing earlier. Synergy tier list, general tier list, meme. This is a general tier list. I'm just talking about it. Let's see. I think Elizabeth was the next on the list. I think this character is quite bad. I have not been a fan of her for the longest time. I think I will agree she has teams, and she does have a very similar support fashion and the similar bits of Hilda, except I will note Hilda has mix-up and enables, like, active switch mix-up. Whereas a lot of Liz's stuff feels faker, and just generally doesn't have nearly as much gimmick-wise going on. She has gimmicks, but it doesn't, I don't know, she just doesn't feel like she enables certain characters to do a lot of things. Like, I just obviously is quite good with her. The 9 team is quite good, but like, every time that I feel like I've had to deal with Elizabeth, if you pick off the other character, there's no contest. She just doesn't do shit. That's where personally I think people struggle playing against Hilda's tempo. Her teams have a lot of downtime that people kind of just sit around. I can agree with that, but I also think that like a lot of the stuff that she does is like consistently good. And most of the really good teams, yeah, you can force issues sometimes, but then sometimes if you overextend, you're like getting right into it. So you got to find that median, and sometimes it can be very difficult. Yeah. Yeah, like Liz just doesn't play point, and her assists are the best things about her. Damage-wise, she's lackluster. Frame data-wise, she's very lackluster. And she has the beam for the assist, but like, damage, she does have like some random hits that are like incredibly good damage, but like overall, like, as I'll put it, right? As I will, yeah, her DP sucks. As I will always reference, Frosty Faustings 2.0 drops, whatnot. I'm playing with Karuko in pools. I'm fucking sweating bullets because Karuko is a fantastic player. I'll stand by that. I mean, he got like, what, like 4th, 5th that event with a super stacked? Fucking love me some Karuko. But, he's playing 9 Elizabeth. And, like, every time that 9 is on the screen, I'm panicking. It's like, it's rough. It's super difficult to deal with like 9 or whatnot. But then you literally take care of 9, and I felt terrible. I did 7 or 8 Azeodynes in a row, and the character could not play the game. And I usually don't BM in tournament or whatever, but I had to look at him and say, dog, homie, pick Orier. Like, you have to play Orier. And then he plays Orier, and then I managed to rob him for that game. But it's like for the last game, but it was much closer, and it was much more difficult. And then we played casuals, and the Orier was doing work, the 9 Orier. The 9 Elizabeth was all 9. Whenever 9 was working, like whenever Elizabeth was enabling, it was working. Whenever 9 would die, rest in peace. It's just, it's rough. I do not believe in this character. I arguably would rate her lower. I might rate her lower. But I don't know. I don't think she's good. Yeah, I might. We'll see. I've only got a few of these characters left. So let's pick the odd one out, since I think, everybody else is girls. So let's do Hazuma. This character sucks. Is this character, he has damage comparatively. I used to think he did not have damage, but I think now, because like buffs and stuff like that, he does have decent enough damage. He doesn't have as strong like runaway game as like earlier versions, obviously, but he has like whack-ass assists, and very few teams that really use his assists. like, his 6P is so situational. It works with this guy real well. The Yosuke team uses the 6P very creatively. I feel like the Carbide team fell off a good chunk, but the 6P is still kind of usable. I don't like this character. 5P sucks, 6P is meh, 4P is probably the best thing about him, and that shit is stubby. It's bad. This character sucks. He does have damage. Yeah. I don't know. He's got no teams. Like, every time I see the funny haha Hazama Adachi team, I get sad. I think that team sucks, personally. I don't like that team. I don't like that one. I don't like this. Wait, where the fuck did he go? No, he's not that bad. He's not Kanji bad, but he is a weak character. Celica is always a wild guess for me, so little play, hard to tell max potential. I'll rate her, and I will note. I have only played Celica against, I've only played against, unsafe Celica. Or rather, I've played other random Celicas, but I think Unsafe has probably been the Celica that I've played, that I could kind of judge the most off of. And I think she also is quite bad. A lot of her stuff, she kind of just ends pressure in very goofy ways. Either unsafe or, as in, like, you know, punishable at times. Or like, whatchamacallit, or goes for like an overhead, and then it's like, okay, well, I can punish that. You're really betting more on the fact that you're really just gambling a lot with this character. She's countered by chip damage. Let me repeat this one for everybody watching. She is countered by chip damage. Blocking a special move with Celica A Mercury nerfs the character. Yeah, it's bad. She has no assists, I will say that. Her 6P is probably her best assist. 5P, I think, is humorously mediocre. And 4P, it reminds me of good old times of Anime Ascension 2018, where I thought, or me and a few other people thought, Yukiko might be a strong character because she has a heal as an assist. And then you play her, and you're like, oh my god, this heal sucks. It's so bad. Yeah. No, it's bad. You see, I would agree that 6P is slow decent, but I think her 6P is better than her 5P. And that's not to say that her 6P is better in terms of like, oh, that I think it's valued more. I think it's just I don't like her 5P. So yeah, she is super ignorant. Like, you just do shit with her. You just start, like, here's the strategy. Hey there. Let's talk about how to play Celica in 5 seconds. Double jump, JC. Thank you for coming to the TED Talk. You just Celica kick and call an assist. And that's it. Yeah, she's bad. You know what? Fuck it. I think she's... I can't. I don't think she's... I think Neo is better than her, and that's saying something. Granted, I think Neo is pretty good. But yeah. Do 5A and keep mashing 5A neutral. I will agree, 5A is a good button. But the moment you do 5B, if you push block, you just die. If you get push blocked, you die. And it's like, she has no mix-up off of it, and no real pressure. And it just ends. I don't know, I don't think this character's good. maybe up here, but I don't know. I haven't played against enough good ones to, like, I feel like I haven't played Unsafe in years. And generally, every other one that I've fought, I've not been impressed by this character. So yeah, speaking of characters that I've not been impressed by outside of the beta where she was used as a healing dummy, let's just get that out of the way. What do you want me to say? 4P, similar to Celica, is very bad. 5P is not very good. 6P is great if your opponent does not have a down back option. Or the classic here, right, is you jump at them and call Yukiko 6P, and then they will block crouching because the fact that you can't block the Phoenix. You don't want to block the Phoenix. You'd rather dodge it, and then you get hit by a jump in or a 5C. That is literally how it works, and it's so fucking funny. Or how people just get hit by it. She has very little damage outside of fire levels. Getting fire levels is depending on if you have a good team, it's not super hard. She's not focused on her fire levels, if that makes sense. She likes a lot of getting the fire levels, but it's not like, whatchamacallit. It's like a thing that you shouldn't, it's like a side goal of getting to a very high fire level. She does have the benefit of having a persona that does most of the pressure, so you can't push block it, but yeah, there's very little actual mix-up off of it. There's literally one low, and the other one is 5C. So she's pretty good if you have shitty internet. But yeah, so she doesn't have very strong assists. She just doesn't have very strong assists. Yeah, she has room for robbery, because if you get fire levels and just your opponent makes one mistake and gets hit by a fire super, or gets opened up by like an EX Agidine or whatever, the EX whatever, low, you can just explode. She does have robbery there, but I feel like if your only way of winning is robbery, not as the only way of winning, but if your most consistent way of winning is robbery, sheesh, you know? Yeah. I don't know. She doesn't do any damage. She has okay pressure, but no real, like, strong mix-up options. Yeah. I don't think this character is good. Why is Noelle so bad? Go back into the if you're interested, like, right now, you can go into the Twitch video and go backwards. Otherwise, go wait for it to be uploaded on YouTube, and then, check it out there. Naoto Shirogane, I assume, Mr. Racer. Your mad funny character. I think she's like A+, personally. So Shirogane is funny because defensively, the DP is not very good. I want to say it's probably the weakest counter DP. Just because of how sometimes it just doesn't do shit. Well, it's situationally good. But overall, I would say it's probably the weakest out of all the counter DPs. Her ability to, like, her pressure is pretty good. She has, like, some decent, like, mix-up options. With right teams, she can enable, unblockables with her flip. She has a lot going for her. And she has good assists. 6P is a good assist. Like, it's really good. 5P is pretty good. 4P is also pretty good. Like, all of her assist value is, like, pretty good. Interactive switch value is fantastic. Her damage, I want to say, is, like, average-ish for the most part. Like, around that 6k area. But she does have the bonus benefit of being able to potentially just kill somebody by using your insta-kills. And especially with, like, solo resonance, like doing that, like just consistently getting that option available, or if you just have teams that like generally build more meter, you're able to find an option to just cash out some bar, and instead normally where you need the bar to like, oh, you need to do this, they cash out another super, you just get an early mark on her, and then use your whatever the fuck they're called in Amon or whatever, and yeah, and then you just explode them. Like you can't do much about it. And in Resonance, the fact that you get all these options that could call out the opponent's push block pretty fast, and considering most of our teams will revolve around calling consistently assists after assist after assist, then you're gonna be able to burn a lot of bar pretty quickly, and then just get this like really strong mix up into just a death. Yeah. A lot of shit happened in the chat room, so I missed it. What were the thoughts on Adachi's DP? I didn't talk about Adachi's DP, actually. But I don't know. It's not any better than Kurogane's, but it's also like, I don't know. You can use it to escape like corners sometimes, or like some situations you can use it just to get to the other side, and it's super hard to punish. But then other times you just fucking do it and die. So it do be like that. Hey, it was good, Chaotic. My homie, down 25 lines. A BBTAG player suggested that. Look, is that BBTAG player a Noel fan? Because you know what I gotta say. And yeah, it is not currently ordered. I don't think I will be ordering it because it is really annoying to try to order all this shit. Whatchamacallit? Not necessarily as a movement option, but like if they have a certain jump in that's like really high, like say in the mirror match against like other Adachi JBs, sometimes you can use it as a option to like go under them, or like potentially like actually anti-air them. As well as some situations, it's like just useful for the quick proc, and then like if they aren't ready to punish it, then it's like there. Chaotic, hey man, thanks for dropping by. Alright, Labrys was mentioned next. Labrys, I think, is a very average character. She has, whatchamacallit? Her assists are pretty weak overall, I think. Her damage varies, but overall is around that consistent, like, average area. And she has good teams. She actually has, like, good teams. She has good active switch options. Chain Knuckle can be kind of annoying for some characters to deal with. EX Chain Knuckle having projectile availability. It is pretty good. The 4P, yeah. I can agree 4P is alright. 5P is okay. Yeah. Her neutral is a little lacking. But having that Knuckle, having Knuckle's pretty nice. Having the 5A isn't necessarily the best neutral thing, but it's good to check sometimes. 5B is a little weird. It's a really weird button. I don't have too much thoughts on it. Like, it's just a very odd button. I don't see it often used outside of combos. Yeah, Axe active switch is really good. And she has good air buttons. Like, I would say JA is pretty good. But yeah, I think she's like a very average character, which is good in this game. It's good enough. Granted, like I said before, for anybody new that's dropping to the stream, almost every character in this game can win. Even as I note that I have in my D tier. Obviously, people in here will probably know Alex or Pun and Done or Kanji. And it's like, you know, he's one shit. He's plays very well doing Kanji shit. Which is like there. Noel is it was Ultimox that did really well with Noel pretty consistently. Celica, not very many people play her. And Yukiko. Yeah, so all in all, I think almost every character this list can win, or is nobody. You don't just pick a character and auto lose, right? And most characters have a role or have a fashion that they can do. or like certain matchups that they serve a purpose in that are just like consistently good. Like New, for example, is a character that is overall pretty weak, but with the right team, like Kurogane is pretty strong, and if you are fighting some teams like, well, Taeger, it can be very good. And yeah, so let's just do these last three real quick, and then I'll probably go over, revisit some characters, stuff like that. So let's just do easy one. Chie Sakanaka. I think it's how you say her last name. Yeah, she's fucking stupid. Yeah, it's like insane pressure, insane mix-up. Overall, I think it's like probably average or a little like around like average or below average damage until she has literally 2 bars in CC and then fucking explodes you. All of her assists are mad good. Like look, 4P. Not like Kurogane or Rachel 4P, but it's very, very good. It's probably the best, I want to say the best Persona 4P. In terms of, like, doing the Persona shit. Her 5P is pretty good. It's not, like, anything that you really write home about, but it's, very good. And that fucking 6P is what Kurogane's 6P wishes it could be. At most of the time. It is such a good 6P. It almost always crosses up. It covers a good vertical space. It is really good. Her pressure's insane. Her mix-up's so good. Presses JC, does shit. JC, oh, let me push block this. Oh, okay, well, she's still gonna get pressure afterwards. Like, it's not gonna be your super big mix-up over, but it's gonna lead it to similar bullshit. And then if she has 2 bars, she takes the stance, beefs up a little bit, and then presses 5 BB into like whatever, and then your damage goes from like 4 to like 11 or 12k. And if she has 4 bars, good luck. You're gonna need it. Very strong character, super good mix up, and whatnot. Is Seth the best character in the game, or do you don't have a best character in mind? I feel like it's really hard to say who's like the best, because look, the way I look at tier lists is that S tier means that you are very strong. You are like a top 5 type character, top 4, top 5, right? That S tier is my top 5. Like, my top 10, rather, I should say. Maybe. But yeah. There's so many good characters in this. Mika, real quick. I'll just hammer these 2 out. Mika, very strong character as well. Maybe S tier, maybe high, like 8.5, if A plus rather, if I want to order it a little bit. JB Charge is super good. Her neutral is fantastic. She has, with the right teams, unblockable setups thanks to her command throw. Her damage is pretty good overall. Has good mix-up. 6P is a good assist. 5P is a good assist. 4P is a good assist. Good character. EX Mika missiles being projectile invuln is really funny. Yeah. I think Mika is a very strong character. I don't know about S tier, but she's definitely like around this area. And Batista is a hot take for me. I think this character is between B or C, because maybe she's B. Maybe yeah. I think B probably fits more because Batista has pretty low damage, all things considered. She has sometimes that she can bust out, but it's pretty inconsistent from what I see. She has okay mix-up options, but she does, like, very little damage. Her matchup spread, I want to say, is a little whack. Her assists are very good. But I think overall, like, I think overall for me, at least, I don't value her that high. And I would personally say B. At least B, yeah. I don't think C or whatever. It's not the best assists in the game. Her 5P is super good. Her 6P, I think, is solid. 4P, I think, is also really good. It covers a really good range, so it could contest like a lot of jumping, which jumping in this game is super good. So calling out like or single jumps and shit like that is super nice. Yeah. I think she's like one of the better average characters. She has good teams. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is about right, I would say. Alright, so let's look at this. Reevaluate some characters if we must. I kind of want to make another tier and split up this A+. But I don't think it's weird. I don't like having this fat column, but S-, I don't agree with an S-. Because the way I look at S- is like, I don't think Mitsuru is that much higher than like Aegis, who's that much higher than Wald. I don't think there is enough to determine like a tier difference between them. Same idea for a lot of these characters up here. I don't think there's enough of a power difference to cause another tier. I'm more looking at try to justify another tier because of the fact that I think I don't like having these fat lines, so I kind of just want to move 2 of these characters and 3 of these characters into a new line. I don't think any of this is. I think I'm pretty is pretty different. The important thing that people forget when they look at individual character placements is team values differ. Agree. Big agree. And that's something I talked about at the beginning of the stream, was that you are a product of your environment. So like I said with Jin, my experience with Jin, I do want to put Jin higher actually. But that's strictly because every time I've fought Jin, it is with Fame on Jin Susanoo, and that team is fucking goofy. So like, you are a product of your environment and what you value. I do not value, like, Asriel I think is mid-tier, because while I do agree he robs and he does high damage, stuff like that, I value consistency in neutral. And Asriel does not have consistency in neutral. Which is, like, rough. So, yeah, like, a lot of these characters, like, because even though Hilda does offer some really strong support value and stuff like that, I think as a solo character, she's a little bit lacking. So I will acknowledge the fact that she is really strong support, but if left isolated, it is a very rough time. But unlike Liz, if she can at least like try to do some shit against you most of the time. But yeah, team values will differ. Some people will like the fact that your team does incredibly high damage consistently. Other people will like the fact that your team consistently gets an opportunity to mix up, or things like that. And it's just kind of how it works. Going by characters that I play at least a little bit, I find that I would be an S, Gord, and you in the same tier. Gord, I think, I said it a little bit, and it's slightly toxic, but I think most Gord players are just whining. And this character is actually quite good. He does have weaknesses, but it's the fact that I feel like a lot of people that currently are playing Gord, that are not like myself or Gears or Steve or like Connie, or at least can play Gord, are adjusting to the nerfs. I feel like everybody is either complaining the fact that, oh, my 2B, 5B doesn't work, but it also will work on counter hit, and it will also work if you delay 5B a little bit. And if you hit them super high up in the air, then you just got to deal with that. It's a bigger nerf, and it's like, oh well, I have so much recovery on my anti-air, and it's like, yeah, that's high recovery. It also is very quick, has ground utilities, and hits quite high, and is quite good. But Yeah, I think Gord is quite good. And Yuzu maybe should go higher. That's a good point. Did you get censored? I see your thing. Great, S above Gord, which is above Yuzu? Or wait, are you saying... That looks like a smiley face. Yuzu might go up. Nah. I don't think she's, like, in the same area as, like, Ragna or Izayoi. Maybe not. Hard to say. For me, at least. I wouldn't argue if she was an A+ tier. I just don't know if she actually would, for me at least, would be in there. An S is a weird one. She's like above average. She has like a lot of stuff. She's like got all the stuff an average character wants, and then does very well. What should we call it? Does Yuzu have any teams now? Yeah, she has Mitsuru, she has Hilda, she has what you call it? Mitsuru, Hilda. The 9 team I think is okay if I remember correctly. Yumi team should also work. Yeah. I think that's good enough pairs right there. And probably other teams that I'm forgetting about. What should we call it? Yeah. Dang, I wanted to make this one a little bit faster than the last one, but this is going like 3 hours on right now. Yuzu Aki still good. Yeah, that's true actually. But yeah. I think I like this list. Do I bother organizing and ordering it? Not really. Yeah, I can agree with what you would call it. I think Yuzu at least this version still has like decent bit of players. But definitely is a little bit underrepresented. But granted, I feel like a lot of characters are fairly underrepresented this version. Just because you have so many, and you have so many polarizing characters. Like, I mean, obviously everybody, well not everybody, but a lot of people play Adachi, a lot of people play Yumi. What should we call it? What's another one that I always see? Yang is a pretty popular character, but like not at high level, but like at mid. Susanoo is quite popular. Hilda is quite popular. Despite all the, what you call it, varying opinions on her. Yeah. Thank you for the follow. I do not pronounce your name. So I'll say thank you. And smile. I feel like Liz is underrated a bit, in Kanji too, but otherwise I agree. I will disagree wholeheartedly. I think I would debatably move Liz in for my bottom 5. Yosuke is popular? Nah, for at least over here. I wouldn't. Legit half the class plays a different game in the current environment. Kinda. So the more I look at it, I think the big thing, the S tiers, every one of them in some way, shape, or form force you to play the game in a different way. Seth forces fantastic, like Seth, Rachel, force really strong, Oki situations with lots of mix-up, like high, low, whatnot. But the difference between the two is like Seth has like really fast, like neutral interactions as well as unburstable moments, as well as EX, what you call it, 204C, which is super good. and orbs, which are fantastic. Whereas Rachel has Lobelias and a stronger like assist kit overall, I would say. And also, like, he just set 5p, well, not to say overall, but in neutral, but his 5p, sets 5p, sets that up. Adachi's Zeodynes and general lack of being able to be push blocked is similar concept with Narukami. The big difference there is that Adachi's neutral is more based on, like, setting up the lasers and then setting up for, like, hey, my neutral is also my pressure. Whereas Narukami is like, hey, my neutral is just very strong overall. And also, it just my neutral turns into, the moment you start blocking, you're blocking for a year. Carmine makes you never want to... Carmine is a character that makes you not want to press buttons, but you need to press more buttons to deal with. He just does so much damage and has such strong neutral options. That's just like shit, man. Kurogane, you don't have a burst button anymore. We talked about Rachel. Akihiko is just a very strong pressure character, very good neutral options, and shits out damage. And can just like do real quick mix up into you die. Heart plays an entirely different neutral game than half the cast because of how hover dash works. 9, whatchamacallit, EX, well, Scarlet Vein just nullifies a lot of projectiles and a lot of, like, whatchamacallit, like, Adachi has a hard time dealing with her because, like, the Zeodynes and stuff like that, as well as the fact that she just sets up unblockables that a lot of characters just can't deal with. So her Oki is fantastic, along with having good neutral. Yumi is easy bake oven ass. I'm just good at just about everything. And also, if you DP against her and the Yumi is ready, you just lose. Ruby is just similar to not Akihiko, similar to Narukami in the sense where they have fantastic neutral and things like that. But it's just the fact that she just is outrageously good at neutral and outrageously ignorant buttons. Yeah, 9 negates character design for some of them. Yang is just very obnoxious in a lot of what she does, and a lot of characters just all similar to Yumi and Kurogane. You can't burst against her a lot of the time because of how much armor she has on everything, as well as just so good in a scramble situation. And Chie just has the overall very strong mix, similar to like Persona Pressure, while also being able to just quickly delete characters. So I feel like S tier really have a quick or efficient way of either changing the game of how you have to approach the matchups, or like just approach your team's approach in neutral or on defense to an absurd level. A plus tier does a similar version, not nearly as much, or not necessarily not nearly as much, but to a weaker extent. Yeah, has immediate. I like that actually. The moment you start, you have very clear and defined win condition things, like win conditions that you could do off of like generally 1 or 2 moves, like Adachi's Zeodynes, Seth 5p or like 5p sandwiching, stuff like that, etc, etc, etc. Usually they're revolving around a button or a special or 2 or something like that. A plus tier has a similar extent, but is usually a little bit different in some regard, or a little bit less efficient in it, or has a hole, whereas the S tiers may not have as nearly large of a hole. Yeah, and then A tier is just your above average character. You have good win win conditions, and like clear win conditions, and you have like strong tools or strong enough tools, but you do have a weakness here or there that is a little bit glaring. B is like your average Joe, not a bad thing, but generally you can tell that there's going to be some sort of weakness here or there, like your neutral or your damage or your assists or things like that. You can still win with any of these characters, but it just gets weaker. C tier is like, you're almost B tier, you just have some a bigger glare in your weaknesses. And then D tier is just, frankly, you are lacking. Like, it's just, you're playing Kanji. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I don't see anybody that I outright want to move that much. I would argue moving Liz a little bit lower, like into D tier, might be what I do. Probably not, though. And I kind of want to move Merkava in A+. Why is Heart S? So Heart does this thing where she just hover glides, like hover dashes, and it is really strong because it's a super dash that you can block during. And because of the fact of you can move while doing it, it creates strong mix-up options, and it could bait DPs. And also sometimes whenever you just do it on Oki, it is a fucked up left-right. It's rough. It's just such a what you'll call it, such a strong character. Also, her damage is good, her assists are good, her everything is good, and homing is just very, very strong. Look, Omnix, I'll do that for you if you let me move Asriel a D tier. And Adachi. Because Azio's minus 15, dude. I can't do it point blank. How am I supposed to throw my fireballs point blank if it's punishable? Oh. Alright, I'm probably gonna stream for a little bit, just look at more of this. I don't think anything's changing, but thanks if whoever watched the YouTube video, sat through it. This is an opinion zone, in which case I will say that these are my opinions, and your opinions I appreciate, but I will probably not read. So, have a good one.